You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
Hey folks, Thursday night live call-in show for the Beans and Dice podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Carlos.
Wah, wah, wah. I'm Rob.
And I'm Wayne.
That was different.
Yeah.
And after a heavy loaded table lately,
Oh, yeah.
we are running a light one.
Super light.
Like just like the essential crew tonight, just barely able to keep the ship
Wow,
headed in the right direction.
Central Crew and random idiot.
Oh, something like that.
Rob, we get it.
No.
You don't have to say that out loud. It hurt my feelings.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Thursday night live call-in show where we talk about what we've been up to gaming-wise, and then Carlos will lose. Joe Schlanger pop it into the Facebook post. Thank you, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Much appreciated. I do lose. It is a thing. I'm not afraid of losing games.
Oh, yeah. That's a thing.
It is a thing. I play for fun, not for wins. But we talk about what we've been up to gaming, and then we open up the phone lines to let you talk about what you've been up to gaming-wise.
Or otherwise.
Or otherwise.
Yeah. We do all kinds of stuff here. So.
But it is the week of the D-Day anniversary.
Yes, it is.
It is. So we can open up this conversation. You know how I do. I don't ever plan anything. So what we can do is talk a little bit about some of the World War II themed games that we enjoy. And then right off the bat, we can start off with what we've been playing lately. Rob and I, we just played Match.
Yeah.
What I've been playing lately this week, one of the World War II games that I really enjoy, this is Undaunted Normandy.
Undaunted, yes.
Not Heroes of Normandy.
Heroes of Normandy.
Undaunted Normandy.
Different game.
Yeah.
By Osprey Games. This is quickly becoming one of my favorite World War II board games. It's designed by David Thompson and Trevor Benjamin.
Is it a board game? That should be part of the discussion. Should you consider this a card game?
Well, you can see on the table,
There's some tiles.
that would be a board.
Yeah. But there's lots and lots and lots of these things, lots of cards.
You got to deal with them
Yeah. Deal with them.
because it's a deck builder. And for the same reasons that Robert and I love Tyrants of the Underdark.
Underdark, as I say, I like all kinds of deck builders, but Tyrants is, that's nearly the king. But go ahead, yeah.
For that same reason is the reason why this game really just engenders itself to me. Like I'm really liking this game. It combines a small deck building because the marketplace is not huge.
No.
The marketplace is very simple, very basic, but there is purchasing of cards for your deck. There are the fog cards. They call them Fog of War here. Those cards that nobody ever likes,
Fog, yeah.
like Fear in Arnak. Or I really can't think of a Dune card that would be just a null or a bad card.
No, you got your starters, which don't do as much, but there's nothing that's just a blank. So this has blanks. This is like, if you want to talk about what racing games,
Heat.
Heat, where you got those Heat cards, or I was going to say the the bicycle one. I want to say Peloton, but that's the expansion. It's Flamme Rouge.
Flamme Rouge.
You've got the Fatigue
Yes.
cards that go in your deck that just do nothing.
So that's has that element where you're adding that to your deck and then taking it out of your deck to make your deck more efficient.
Yep.
But what I really like about it is everything you do, every card you play is all about moving pieces on a war game board.
Yep.
If I show the top shot again, you'll see the board. There's a river, it's a canal in this scenario. You got farms, you got hedges, so you got hedgerows and forest, and we've got units on the board that do certain attack. They also have certain different defense depending on what tile they're in.
Yep.
They'll have different defense values. Distance and range matters for shooting. You're playing cards to scout new areas that you can go to or to control objectives. And every scenario is different. It is asymmetric, so you can't say that it's a fair fight. Sometimes it just wasn't, like last match.
Oh yeah. So, I mean, it is a card based. I mean, you've got a couple layers of luck in this. I mean, you do have dice.
That's a huge layer.
Thing
of luck.
I hate, but yeah. So when you're attacking, you are rolling a die or a handful of die, as Carlos did last game.
But they're 10-sided dice,
Yeah.
which is not often used. I like that.
Yeah, that's a nice number. Gives you some variety.
Well, for me, it also helps with my math. Like it's easy to tell what's the odds of hitting. Right? Okay, it's a 3% or 30% odds.
Yeah.
On hitting here, it makes the math easy. But I don't think there's any time that we're shooting where you're hitting on anything less than a 5 or a 6.
Yeah, it's pretty high numbers. I know
Right,
you rolled
like
a bunch of die, but you were looking for 9s and 10s. So yeah.
So that's that randomness that really bugs me, because it's 1 or 2 dice, and you're looking for usually a high number to hit, so the odds of hitting aren't there.
Yeah. A lot of strategy. The other big part of the luck, I was going to say, is it is a card game. So, and you've got these blanks, these fog of wars that go into your hand. And so it's possible, you only draw 4 cards in a round. In each round, you play one of the 4 cards as an initiative value. So the better cards have higher initiative. They might allow you to act first, because you just both play one card face down, you flip them over. Whoever has the higher initiative gets to act first. So that's very important. So that whole initiative choice is a big decision. But it's possible you could draw 2 or 3 fog of war cards that are essentially just blank cards in your hand, and you may have a no turn. And again, it can pivot on that. The way that I ended up taking the last game from Carlos is I drew a good initiative card, so I guaranteed that I got to go first, and then I had just the right combination of cards that I got to move, go to the objective, and take it over all before he even got to do anything that round. So you've got luck in the dice, you've got luck in the card draws, but again, this game still feels good, even though I'm a big hater of luck. I don't like all that randomness, but this game still feels fun.
Well, it's kind of your fault. If you didn't draw the cards you needed, you didn't build your deck.
Yeah, because you do
maybe
build.
the way you should have.
You do build.
Well, and I think is possibly the luck an aspect of just trying to simulate the craziness of war.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Like
That's
you
what Carlos
can't.
keeps telling me. I don't buy all that, but yeah, he's what he keeps telling me. Yeah.
You don't have total control, and I like it. So right off the bat, World War II this week, with D-Day being this week, June 6th.
Yeah.
Just the other day, celebrating. I really wanted to get into some World War II games. This is the first one that I got played. Second game I've played in 2 days, and man, I just forget how good this game is.
Is it better than Memoir? I was just going to ask, better than Memoir. I mean, Memoir is that's always been your go-to. So we can throw it back to Wayne, but just you can maybe even think about it for a minute if you want. But yeah,
I will say I am not ready to make that commitment yet, folks. I'm looking dead in the eyes. I'm not ready, because Memoir is like one of my first loves when it comes to World War II board games.
And you got a whole lot of it too.
Yeah, I got a whole lot of stuff.
But this is definitely fighting for a spot, and the reason is 10 minutes after opening up the board, you're ready to go. The box, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Whereas in Memoir, about an hour of setting up minis.
May not be quite that bad, but it's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah. What were you going to ask Wayne?
I was going to ask Wayne about World War II games that he thinks the folks should be looking at.
I mean, I guess I haven't played very many newer ones, because so Memoir is definitely one that I've played, but the really Axis and Allies and Attack and some of those older games are the ones that I would probably have played the most. I would say that I tried to get it played this week. It didn't happen, but I wanted to play Axis and Allies D-Day, which is probably my favorite of the Axis and Allies.
Oh, cool.
Now, I know you asked me to play this week.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to get it in. I was also a little worried about access time-wise. And I'll tell you why. Whenever I go to the convention and Zeno asks me to play.
Zeno's the one, yeah.
Yeah.
Zeno. He's there for hours.
4 or 5 hours.
Hours.
Yeah, and here's the difference with Axis and Allies D-Day is it's a set number of turns.
Oh.
Right. So it's just Normandy on D-Day. It's the Americans and the British versus the Germans. So you could play a 2-player. You could probably play a 3-player, but it's really a 2-player. And there's, I think, 9 or 10 turns. That's it. Right. And each turn you go through a deck of cards, and there's maybe 60 cards to start with, and you flip them, and you okay, now this is the naval bombardment, and this is the airstrike, and you keep working through the cards, and each turn is one cycle through the deck. However, there are special cards that you can use them to do like one-off things. Once you do that, the card gets removed. So, turn 1, you flip through 60 cards, and a lot of them are just straightforward, right? And then as you go through the rounds, that deck gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And by the 9th, 10th round, the deck is only 20, 25 cards deep. So the turns get faster and faster and faster. So it's a 2-hour game.
Okay, so that could have been a work night game. I was really worried because I was like, okay, if I'm in, I got to be like set, ready to go 5, 6 o'clock because it's going to be an all-nighter.
Nah, it's 2 hours.
Okay. Well, I guess because there's so many different versions.
I've only played the one.
I've never played.
Yeah,
You
those
didn't
special
play
ones.
with Zeno?
No.
He came over to my place and taught once, so I thought you were there, but you weren't there. Okay. All
I've
right.
been able to shake Zeno.
Oh, you're shaking that one off, yeah.
Looks like James Odak saying that I'm a little loud, so I don't know if you can turn me down.
Can
a
we turn you
little
down
bit.
a touch?
Yeah, turn me down a touch. But bunch of several versions of the Axis and Allies D-Day that are that shorter game where it's a deck of cards that you're flipping through. So
Okay, so there are different modes.
yeah, that's a good one.
Different versions. Yeah.
If you want to blitz through
that's-
a war game,
I grabbed this. I mean, that's my. I'm going to admit, most people who have watched know that I'm not a big history buff, and sometimes I regret that. I know that you and William and some of the guys that come over and play games, y'all get deep into the history, especially with World War I, World War II, all that good stuff, even ancient history, Japanese history. I know William's big into all that. I'm not as big as I probably should be or would like to, but you want again, they advertise on the box World War II in 20 minutes. 2-player head-to-head World War II. There's some theme in this game. I'm not a big theme guy, but I mean, there's some cool stuff in this. If you haven't played this is Paolo Mori, I believe.
Yes.
Paolo Mori.
Praise be. I mean, okay, I get it.
Not quite.
That,
yeah.
but
Not quite.
I love Paolo. Like, that is my man.
Yeah, he does some good stuff. And I mean, this game, this is up my alley. I mean, this is a game that we've played 2 or 3 times in a night. We'll in between games, whatever, you pull this out, you play it 20 minutes or less, depending on again, a lot of I won't say a lot of luck. I mean, you're pulling chits out of a bag, so you can
Watch your mouth. It's not 10 o'clock
you can
yet.
sometimes get messed up by the chit pools, but this game. A lot of fun. It's basically a tug of war. You've got these different theaters that you're fighting in, and you're trying to play pieces to different theaters. Some of them only allowed ground units at certain times. Some only allow naval units at certain times. And so you're playing what you draw into the different areas, and you're trying to push and pull these. Let's see, on the back of the box, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different theaters. You're doing a little tug of war. You're just trying to pull or push the chit one way or another, so that you can either push it all the way to where it locks in and you lock down that theater, or you get different bonuses for pushing it along as you place into the different areas if strategically.
There's a main point board. That's the main part you're pushing.
Yeah.
And each of those theaters that has that tug of war aspect in it is going to score at different intervals.
Right.
So as you're laying the chips
Fill up different areas.
or the chits, you're going to trigger scoring after so many have been laid.
Yep.
Depending on where that point marker is, on that indicator is on that theater. And then that's going to drive the main point track. So you're trying to get, I think, 25 points on the main track by being in control of certain theaters at the time that they trigger control.
Yep.
So it's really fun. Like, okay, I want to put some pressure here into the Pacific theater, but I want to do it at the right time so that I can place the last chip so that I can be in control when we trigger the scoring of that theater.
Yeah.
And then I think each one has like 2 or 3 different times that they trigger that way. Time Roller over in welcome to the show. Thank you so much. Over on the Twitch says, I have Caesar in 20 minutes, which is the other
his
Paolo
follow-up.
Mori.
Yeah, he followed up with that one, which is a similar-ish game. I mean, it's on a little board.
But it's Roman themed.
Roman
And
themed.
Robert and I will argue back and forth on which one we like better.
Yeah, it's a little lighter. Caesar's a little lighter, even a little
I think so.
less
maybe.
less going on there. So.
But that ancient's history is what kind of draws me to that, and they're both bags that you're pulling chits from.
Yep.
But in Caesar, the chits are round, so I was able to encapsulate them in coin capsules.
Okay.
So it just feels better when you're rummaging in the bag and you got the plastic clanking, so tactile.
Yeah. You got to be careful with those. Dan and I are using those in Arkham that we're playing, and they've started breaking. Like the last 2 times we played,
plastics?
as we shake that bag, those little.
Whoa, slow down,
Yeah,
bro.
little
How
car-
hard are you
yeah.
shaking the
I was
bag?
like, Dan, I'm going to stop shaking the bag. He's like, no. He goes, keep on shaking that bag. We'll replace them as they break. But I was like, so we broke
Rob
2
is
of the last one.
Rob is a little hard on his chits.
Yeah, a little aggressive. I'm an aggressive shaker. Yeah.
Big shout out. We got Rich Yassi in the house.
Hey, Rich.
in the chat.
Nice to have you in. We haven't had you in a while.
Yeah, he just posted up another tournament.
Yes.
So we'll come back to that
Okay. Yeah.
as we wrap up our conversation on World War II, and then we open up the phones.
But I'm a big Blitzkrieg fan. Just to go back, so I definitely I'll sing that all day. I think it's just a better game mechanics wise. I understand the draw with the Rome version. That's a little more sexy, a little more fun, a little more appealing as far as that time period and that history, but to a lot of people, I guess, not to everybody. But I'm definitely, I like the gameplay in Blitzkrieg better.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
prefer the Blitzkrieg.
Rich says you need to be careful shaking the sack.
Oh, I know. I said aggressive shaker. Yeah. You shake it more
He
than
did
twice.
say bag. I interpreted
up.
it as
Yeah.
sack.
Okay. You shake it more than twice, you're playing with it. So, yep.
World War II themed games. Okay, so we've talked about some big games that take a lot of time. Axis and Allies. We talked about medium games like Undaunted Normandy, which I think is kind of a medium weight and medium time.
Yeah.
And then we talked about Quick.
Yep.
Blitzkrieg. Small footprint wise, I would also recommend Land, Air, and Sea.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a 2-player card game themed in World War II, where you're fighting over 3 areas: theaters, land, air, and sea theaters, by playing cards back and forth. And it sounds a little lame because it's kind of generic in that sense of I'm playing these cards with different ranks on them, almost like Battle Line.
Yeah.
If you ever played Battle Line, or
what's the
what else?
Shot and Totten?
Shot and Totten, yeah, the redo of it, kind of similar, where you have these areas you're trying to control across the board, and you're playing back and forth across from each other. But what this game shines at, Land, Air, and Sea, is their surrender or withdrawal mechanism.
Oh, yeah.
So you're trying to get a certain number of victory points, and at any point in the game, you're going to play multiple rounds. At any point in that round of game that you're playing, you can choose to surrender. And if you surrender early, you give up less victory points to your opponent.
Right.
So if you know your hand's not strong, if you start to see where things are heading, instead of playing another card to the table, you can say, I surrender. You win. Congratulations. And if you do that early enough at early stages in the game, you're only going to give up maybe 1, 2, 3 victory points. But if you try to hang on to the very end, to the last bit,
last card,
you're going to give up 9 points. I can't remember. Something crazy.
Yeah.
You're going to give up a lot of points.
Yeah. It's I think it's more like 4 or 5 because you only played like 10 or 12 points if I remember right. But yeah.
But that was an interesting. I hadn't seen that done well in a game before, especially a small game like that.
That's a good way to manage that, too, because, again, when we were talking about Undaunted here, I was talking about you could just get a bad draw one round, and if somebody is close to an objective that's going to complete it or knocking the last unit off the board or whatever it is, just one bad draw can quickly bring it into the game. But that whole idea that you're talking about, if you draw a bad start and you just feel, hey, I'm probably not going to pull this out, odds are against me, I just started with a bad, crappy hand, then you can surrender. Just surrender in the first couple of rounds. You only lose a point. Like I said, I think you're playing to 12 points or something like that. So live another day, go on, give up quick.
And that's what it kind of reminded me of poker for money, which is, I'm not good at this. You got to know when to fold them.
Yeah.
Like you have to know when to say, this is not going to work out. And that's how you win the game. Not by going aggressive and trying to win the big pot, but by not losing as much. Mitigating your losses is more important than having a big win in Land, Air, and Sea, the card game.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree.
Let's see. We got just 3 more minutes. Any last games I can think of? World War II. I know we briefly talked Memoir.
Yeah.
But that's #1 game for me.
Yeah.
I will put it #1 on my board.
Mm-hmm. Memoir's got, like you said, there's so much stuff out there for Memoir. So, I mean, you can take it to the air, which you can do it Undaunted now, I guess, as well. They've got the air... that's the
new system.
Britain, yeah.
They do a standalone game.
Yeah. And Memoir's got great campaigns. There's that book. What do they call that book that you can buy that has all the
strategy
scenarios,
guide?
the strategy guide.
I have the tactics and strategy guide. It's a full-on 500-page book.
Yeah.
That runs you through strategy and tactics of Memoir 44. It's been around so long.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been around there long enough that people have been able to do stuff for it. And
Rich says Combat Commander. I've never had the opportunity to play Combat Commander.
I was going to mention, what did we play? Was it 2 weeks ago we played here?
Quartermaster General.
Quartermaster General. There you go.
That is your big 6-player World War II game. So we talked about most of these are just 2-player.
Right.
Undaunted with the expansion now has a 4-player variant. But Quartermaster General is where it's at if you're looking for less than 2 hours.
Pretty light.
But 6 players.
Yeah. Yep.
So Quartermaster General was a hit. You can go back to a prior episode. We gave it the beans.
Yep, we went over the whole thing.
We did give it the beans.
Yeah, we did.
I'm taking it with me to Mike, one game. Undaunted for the win.
Oh, yeah. There you go. He's a big fan.
I can't argue with you.
Yeah, he's talked about it.
But I'm bringing Quartermaster General with me this weekend to Armada for game day. If we can get 6 people together, that's definitely one I'd love to play.
Yeah, I know you wanted to try Undaunted at 4. We talked about that a little bit. We played lots, 2 players. Well, I say lots. We played 8.
And we've only played
10.
a 2-player.
Yeah, we've only played a 2-player. So we want to try it out a 4-player because there is a 4-player. I won't call it a variant. It's just 2 teams of 2. But yeah, so see how that goes. Maybe we'll do that this weekend.
Yeah. So if you folks have any thoughts on World War II games, throw them in there. I know Rich talked about Combat Commander. Haven't played that one yet. I've played a lot of minis games, World War II, so like Bolt Action, Flames of War. Right. These are all minis games that I've played, but I can't think of any more World War II board games.
I don't think either one of us have played. If you want to go super, super heavy, like off the deep end, there's that whole system that they have that's like on BGA. It's one of the hardest rated
ASL.
games. ASL,
Advanced Squad Leader.
Yeah, there you go. That's getting crazy. That's from what you've told me. That's getting down to counting cigarettes and
beans and bullets.
Yeah, exactly. Bullets and cans of food for your infantries and your different units. So.
Well, let's open up that phone line. Let's get it going.
The magical time, 9:20. So phone line is open. Give us a call now. You can take control of the show. You talk to us about whatever you want to talk, whether you're on our topic or something else. But we're hitting up the flavor right now for D-Day, World War II, since we happen to be that time of year.
Yeah, we're trying to get another scenario in before the show.
Yeah.
But we were able to set up.
We set it up, but we didn't quite get into it, so that's fine.
Call coming in. Beans and Dice podcast. State your name. Where you're calling from. Oh, let me.
Hold on, caller. If you can hear us, give us.
Can you hear us now, caller?
Yeah.
There we go. Hey, I know that voice.
Hello, Ron Fraser.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Things are well.
That's good. So I have one statement about one question about the World War II theme games, because I haven't played any.
Hit us.
And as I said in the chat, doesn't particularly draw me. But have you heard of the campaign for North Africa?
No.
Campaign for North Africa. I want to say it rings a bell, but I can't visualize anything. Carlos is gonna try to bring it up here on the BGG real quick.
Yeah, you guys were talking about Advanced Squad Leader being. It might be in that family of games. I'm not sure.
Okay.
1979. It sounds awesome.
Wow.
Is that the one? 1979.
Yeah. Supposed to take
I think I have heard of this one. Like it fills your basement and it takes weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in.
No, I'm not even in, Robert.
No, you're not doing that one?
You can't even commit me to this one.
All right. I love my campaigns. I mean, that's well known. If you got a campaign, I'm probably jumping in on it. So anyway, what do you know about this one, Ron?
That it takes weeks to play.
Okay.
and it's the level of granularity and detail is down to the fact that you keep track of rations and all of that stuff. I've just heard stories.
Okay.
But yeah, some folks are supposed to play a round or two of that. It was a stretch goal for an RPG Kickstarter that Matt Colville and MCDM Productions did. So when they do it, because they're learning the rules, when they do it, I'll let you guys know, because I think they're only going to play one round. It's probably going to take a day.
Oh, wow. That's a little crazy.
Yeah. So I'm curious about it.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I'm not. I've been playing some games on BTA. I was supposed to have a game day on Saturday here before Father's Day, but that's not going to work out. Some of my folks aren't going to make it. But haven't been playing a whole lot of board games. But what I have been preparing for is a weekend filled of RPG playing. Actually, a big weekend. I'm getting some folks together. We're going to play. It's going to basically be like a convention, except it's just one group of people playing one game. And we're going to play Friday night, all day Saturday, and Sunday afternoon. So really looking forward to that.
That's a throwback to high school days.
Just dedicating a weekend.
Yeah. It's really, when I'm thinking about it, it's really no different than like say folks getting together to play a legacy game, just kind of knocking out a bunch of content, right? It's just that one player, that's me, the game master, is doing a whole bunch of prep for this, and role playing games and board games have a lot of little differences with your agency and whatnot, but.
Well, let me stop you there for just a second.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Somebody ignorant on role-playing games and what all goes into that. I mean, Carlos has dipped my toe into it a couple different times. But so when
Dragged you in.
Yeah, when you talk about a weekend of role-playing and a GM who has to prepare for that, I mean, what kind of time are you looking at as far as before even the first die is rolled, before the first character is created? What kind of commitment are you looking at as a GM to run, a 2-3 day campaign?
So it's like I've probably put in 20 hours, 20 concentrated hours of prep. And then on top of that, like, whatever comes to mind, I'm kind of jot down. I have a Google Doc, and I might go put stuff in my notes on my phone and what have you. Might be looking at stuff. So I mean, it's a lot, but it's
yeah.
But I enjoy that. I only do this once a year.
Okay.
Like this. It's an event, and it's with people whose company I enjoy, but otherwise I don't get a chance to play games with them regularly. So.
All right. Yeah, Carlos gives me crap for pouring a couple hundred hours into a couple years of Gloomhaven, but I mean, it sounds like it's not that far off
It's a
base
hobby
from what you're doing.
within a hobby.
Okay.
Being a DM is a hobby within a hobby.
All right.
Keeping your journal of all the different characters you've thought up and their different quirks, and then trying to recall them on the fly as your players meet new characters. It's all fun.
All right, it's a talent, I guess.
It is a talent.
Something you learn and something you acquire. But you gotta have some natural, number one, desire and some natural talent, I think, to do that. That's definitely not in my bag of tricks. But yeah,
you've got to be able to just think on the fly.
Mm-hmm. I'm not quick on my feet. No.
Yeah, I struggle with it because I like organization. I've been told I tend to railroad when I do DMing.
Put it on rails or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you try to deviate, I will put a big bad monster in the way.
Nope, not going there.
The owl bear says no, can't go in that cave.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's called like Schrodinger's dungeon or Schrodinger's sword.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It's like you gotta make sure that the players are going to go to the content that you have prepared.
I mean, I spent 20 hours making it. We're not going to side quest this thing.
Not going to miss that, gloss through it, do a run through.
Yeah.
This is not a sandbox.
Yeah.
That's not how this works.
I don't want to get too deep into this. This is a board game show, but like a lot of that is preparing to actually improvise because.
Well, what show could you do that on?
Shameless plug.
As a matter of fact, there's a show that we do right here on this YouTube channel once a month. That's a RPG calling show that'll happen on Friday coming up here. I think we need to lock down the date.
I think we're looking at the last Friday of June for this one. Last Friday of June.
Right before Dice Tower. Okay.
Well, can't be the last Friday of June, like the 23rd. Last Friday of June is the 30th.
Oh, okay. Math wrong. The second to last Friday of June.
Second to last Friday is 30. That's 5. Yeah, that's 5 Fridays.
That would be. So, hold on. There's that many Fridays. Yeah, the 23rd of June is when I was thinking of setting up this next RPG show. But more importantly, I was trying to softball that up for, Ron Talks Tabletop, which I got to listen to his podcast that he posted up on YouTube, where he shared about what was the name of that company that does the D20 Modern Everyday Heroes?
Evil Genius Games.
Evil Genius Games. So. Ron got to talk about his new copy of Everyday Heroes that showed up from Evil Genius Games on his show, Ron Talks Tabletop. Check him out on YouTube.
Thanks for the plug. I appreciate that.
Anytime, Bobby.
Yeah. Hey, so Dice Tower's coming up here in like less than 4 weeks now, which I'm excited about.
Can't wait.
And
That was fast.
I'm realizing that the closer we get to it, the more the longer and longer my list of want to play games
Oh yeah,
is becoming, and I'm getting.
that happens to me every year. The first couple I went to, Carlos will tell you, I had a notebook where I would start making lists of games that I wanted to play. And so the first year it was fairly light. It was a page, and then by the second or third year, I would go with like 3 or 4 pages full of games. It's like must plays.
He said notebook. Okay, listen, y'all. It was Post-it notes.
Oh yeah, okay,
Robert
Post-it notes. Yeah,
had these
stacks of Post-it notes
in his wallet. He carried on with him like a little stack of Post-it notes,
like 10 little Post-it
and he'd be
notes.
checking off which games he played. And by the end of the con, it was all crumbled.
It's efficiency, man. Efficiency. I got those games played. You know, I had things to do. I had games to play. Me and once we got Mitchell on board, me and Mitchell had games to play. You guys went for lunch. Me and Mitchell knocked out like 2 games while y'all were gone to lunch. So I mean,
because y'all don't eat.
you got to have objectives, priorities.
That'll be me this year.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm gaming. Just
Yep.
how many
That's
games
me.
can I get in a 3 or 4 day period?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do because I have a hotel room reserved for my girls are coming down with me, and the question is like, are we staying in a hotel? Are we staying with our friends in Orlando, or are they staying with my friends and I'm staying in the hotel? So I'm trying to finalize my lodging plans, but I would love to stay in the hotel so I could just kind of get more games in. And I'm kind of leaning more towards the Mitchell philosophy now.
Oh yeah, we swayed you a little bit.
Which, you know, because I can see how much time can be like wasted going out.
Wrong with
and
you
getting
people.
A meal.
No, you can eat good meals anytime, Carlos. That's
It's
not the
not
objective
the
of this.
meal. It's not the meal. It's the people.
I'm gaming with people. You're eating with people. I'm there to play games.
I like being around my peoples.
All right.
Robert, on the other hand,
Yeah.
You hold that side down, but I'll be at the table. Yeah.
if you can't be there to be an opponent of Robert, you're no good to him.
Right. Be gone. Move on.
Rich Yassi, Mr. Ron, Rich Yassi wants your commitment to join the Draftosaurus tourney. I think we're at 21 players at this point, trying to get over to.
I think it was 23. Was he said was the most we've had, something like that.
Yeah, some mid-20s or upper
Maybe a little
20s.
higher. Okay, yeah. So we're trying to fill that up. So anybody who's interested in Draftosaurus, we hold a tournament almost every month. We do a little tournament. It's nothing formal, so we don't have a schedule. But when we finish one, we try to start another one shortly thereafter. But on BGA, Board Game Arena. So anybody who's on BGA, if you're not on BGA, you can go on and get a free account. You can be a freeloader like me. I suck off all my friends who have the paid account.
Professional freeloader.
Professional freeloader.
Never
Here it
paid
is.
once, ever.
Nope, I haven't. You're right. I've been.
He's gotten premium months, but not paid.
Yep. Because as you play games, if you play a certain number of games, they'll start giving you gift points, and then after you get 100 gift points, you can cash those in for a month's premier membership. So I've done that twice now in the last year. So, but anybody who's not on, you can go on and get a free account. You just give them your email and some other little bits of information. You can get free. You can play. Gosh, it's got to be well over 100, probably a couple hundred games now available on Board Game Arena. But we hold our tournaments on there. So the next step is if you get on Board Game Arena, go to our Discord page, the Beans and Dice Discord. Wayne will help you get into that if you're not in. If you're having any problems, just let us know, and Wayne will help you. He's our systems guy there.
Systems engineer.
Yep, he'll get you in. And then Rich Yassi runs all of our tournaments, and so he sets them up. He chooses the next one and tries to put out notices to get people signed up. So we've got a tournament page set up for each of the tournaments we do. And again, he's trying to set a record. We're trying to set a record for the most participation in this next one. So we're trying to get up around 30 people to be our highest. And it's good times.
All right, and speaking of that, Ron, I'll tell, since I have Ron on the phone, I'll talk to Ron. Ron, this is why we want you to join, because you get a chance to win some prizes. So in this lovely box here, this is probably the reason Rich does these tournaments.
Oh, yeah.
He's got 2 first-place prizes from the laser cutter, fresh from the laser cutter.
Nice.
That's going to be heading his way in this box, and I haven't showed him yet because I want him to post the pictures of them.
Okay, cool.
When they arrive up to Massachusetts, because he's our Boston bean.
From Boston.
He's our Boston baked bean up there.
Yep.
And then I got some swag in there for him too.
Nice.
So I threw in one of the Beans and Dice dice. I threw in a pin and a sticker for Rich because he's officially the Beans and Dice Boston bean.
Boston. So we put fun little themes on them or little names on them. So Carlos uses the laser cutter and he cuts stuff in there. And then our last place finisher.
Yes,
always.
because what's important to me is that we recognize everyone, Ron. We recognize everyone here at Beans and Dice, including the losers. So here we have what we call the wooden spoon. The wooden spoon is when you get spanked.
Last place.
And you're in last place and you get spanked. You get to walk away with one of these awesome wooden spoons. Here's the Art Vandelay Seven Wonders Architects wooden spoon. And then we have the Frozen Flagon Rallyman GT.
Rallyman GT.
Last place.
Yep.
So I've got JC Wolf, I think was last place for Frozen Flagon.
Okay.
JC Wolfhart, I believe it is, on the Discord.
I don't remember.
And then Oak Cleaver, if I'm right. Oak Cleaver
Yep, I think so.
Was last place for Seven Wonders Architects, and these spoons are headed their way.
Those are our last two tournaments, and we're going to keep them coming. So as long as Carlos wants to keep using that laser cutter, we're going to keep having tournaments.
Listen, as long as Hobby Lobby or Walmart has sales on spoons.
Cheap spoons. Yeah.
Cheap wooden spoons. Yeah.
So y'all let me know if you find any store that's got their spoons on sale. I try to scoop them up for a few bucks a piece instead of having to pay the full price.
There you go.
And then I'll just keep shipping them out to our losers.
Hit those dollar stores.
I mean, not losers,
Nice.
participants.
Participants.
Participants. That's right.
So what's the answer, Ron? Are you in? Did we sell you? Draftosaurus.
No, you did not. I got to check out Draftosaurus.
It's super easy.
It's super easy. Yeah. It's 7 and up, I think. Ages 7 and up. You can get it. Yeah.
All right, we'll try again next time, Ray.
If you join the tournament, I'll do a live game night.
I'll let Wayne keep trying. You keep
like
picking
2
at
minutes.
Ron.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wayne was talking about. William's going to set up a learn to play, he said, actually, on the Discord. So one night, if people who haven't played, he'll teach you. It literally takes 5 minutes to teach the game. So it's real light.
All right, I might be interested in doing that.
Okay. Keep in mind. Keep thinking about it.
I was going to say one final thing before I hang up here. I just wanted to give a hearty congratulations to Mr. Carlos, because for those of you that are not on the Discord, Carlos made an announcement.
Just a little one. Yeah.
I'm like DJ Khaled.
Yeah.
And another one.
Yeah.
And another one.
They just keep on coming. Number 5.
Baby number 5. So we got another Bean coming in the house, another Cabrera. I am making my own Sevens Blood Bowl team. We will have 7 people in this house. We could have our own Sevens Blood Bowl cosplay.
Sure. You make that happen. Yeah.
That was the plan all along, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I always, even before I had one kid, I'd always said I wanted to make my own D&D group.
Well, I said baseball team you were talking about at one point, but yeah.
Once we had the boys and they were playing baseball, then I wanted to make my own baseball team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at 7 players, I can field a pretty big team.
Most of a team, yeah.
I just don't envy your grocery bill.
Oh, dude.
It's going to go up.
BJ's gets a lot of my money. There's a lot of milk and a lot of cereal in this house. He said, Nick Oben says, I got myself a hockey line.
Yeah, there you go. 5-man hockey line plus a goalie. Yeah.
That's right.
Rich Yossi, Carlos is getting another expansion.
Yes, you could say that.
But this expansion continues to cost you more.
Yeah. Cost you more every day.
I love it. Thank you, Ron. I appreciate it, man. With the support of family and friends like y'all, I know that we will be fine, and we are excited to bring another baby into this house. It's because you know what, board gaming, I don't do that very well. I'm not very good at board gaming, but I feel I've always been a very good dad. Like that's what I do well, and I really love doing it. So thank you for recognizing that, Ron.
Oh, yeah. You're welcome, man. It's great. It's good stuff.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Have a good night.
I'm gonna hang up. All right. Take care.
Thanks, Ron.
All right.
Good call, Ron, as always.
Any comments in here that we missed? Wayne says link is in our Discord for the tournament. Rich Yossi says it's so easy to learn. You know what?
Yeah.
I've taken that one to family events.
Yeah, it's easy.
And it's nice because it doesn't take up a lot of room, and it feels like a roll and write. Like it has the roll and write feel, like you're filling in spaces on a roll and write board.
Yep.
That's a great one.
Just drafting and placing.
Ahab says potato. He's still here. Thank you, Ahab, for still joining us. Let's see here. And finally, you'll be able to field a full grid of for Rallyman GT. Vroom, vroom, baby.
Is that
Vroom,
7?
vroom.
Is that how many that is?
It'll be 7 of us.
7? Is that
I'm
full,
good.
full game
As
of
Wayne
Rallyman?
said, you're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how many does he play? So he plays up to
6.
6. Oh, you're
But it has 2 slots.
Oh,
So, like, expansions are possible.
okay. All right.
Hey, Wayne, what you got there, man? I was watching you show
Oh.
up with that glass. You disappeared for a little bit, came back with a nice little...
Had a
It
good
was
drink.
this evening
amber-colored
turned into an exceptionally
beverage.
stressful evening, so I had to grab some scotch.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't gonna drink tonight, and then I had
Stuff
to dip off the
happens.
show for some.
I know it's not 10 o'clock now, but I
Yeah.
learned this new term, the uckening. It's like that moment when it happens,
Okay.
and like the rest of the day is shot is the
Yeah.
uckening.
Okay. That's a thing.
So it happened for Wayne. He knows.
Oh, yeah.
It was a thing
Just
tonight.
happened.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. Let me dip out for a minute there. So
We are. I think our topic was going to be after we did our intro of the show. We're going to talk about games we played in May. So you folks at home, comment in the comments
Pull up my list.
or call in
Yeah.
and tell us what games you played in May.
Tell us about them.
So we'll jump in and just kind of just chat through them. Let's do it. So I
Yours up there. Go ahead.
actually I created a Discord
Channel?
thread. I'm learning about these threads.
Yeah, threads.
One thing I miss leaving Facebook was probably one of the best things I did in a long time. I have gotten so much time back in my life. But one thing I really missed was how easy it was to post something and then like comment on it in one localized place just to keep that conversation contained and going. And Discord, I felt, didn't have that. Like it's just like a running conversation of everything. So then when I figured out how to put threads, it allows people to pop into the thread and continue to converse about that topic without filling up the
Yeah.
feed.
Yeah.
So
I know
I made a
threads are
thread.
popular.
Create, like a little
The-
forum post too.
Yeah,
There's
see,
little forum
I-
posts as well.
When
now,
that stuff
too,
gets
you mess with.
removed from the thing, though, I always tend to forget about it. So I don't know that I'm sold on threads and forums and stuff yet. But because when it goes
So
off to the side, it's like I don't. It's out of sight, out of mind. And then I was like, all right, I'm done with that. I guess let's move on to whatever people are talking about next. But
We got to figure out how to work that. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, yeah, they're
Threads
popular.
are
I mean,
different
it
because
just
if
seems
you
like all
don't
the-
if you don't comment on a thread quickly in a couple of days, it'll condense back into the actual thing, so you don't see it as readily. But little forum things, we can mess with that if you want.
Okay. Yeah, I mean they're popular. I know I'm probably in the minority. 'cause
Forums.
I know all the big Discord channels have these.
I'm going to have
threads
to
and
watch
stuff,
a
but-
YouTube on forums.
Yeah, forums, threads. Yeah.
All right, so here's games that I played in the month of May. I'll go through it, and then we'll let y'all go. 13 Clues. 13 Clues is a game published. Well, my copy is published by Simon, given to me by Simon at Simon Expo 2019, and it's a. I think I talked about it a little bit before, but it's like Clue the game, but even more simple.
Yeah.
You're just trying to figure out the mode, the weapon, the location, and the murderer who did it. And it's all done with blind cards put in front of you on a blinder, so you can't see what your 3 are. You can only see what everybody else has. But then you have some hidden behind you, which is hidden information for everyone else. So you don't have all the information. You're asking questions of your opponents, trying to suss out, figure out who was the murderer, the weapon, and the location for you. First one to figure it out wins. Super fast, super light. It gives you the quick feels of a detective game like Clue without all the setup, all the work, and all the time. It's just like 20, 30, maybe 40 minutes tops.
Yeah, deduction, process of elimination, kind of like a puzzle. So if you're into that kind of stuff, it's a good game for that.
Yes. A lot of Azul Mini has been played in my house lately because of just that. That Azul Mini
The
board
mini, yeah.
is so easy to take anywhere.
Why do you
The beach.
Why do you say it like that?
I don't know.
Azul?
Azul?
Azul.
What?
Azul. Azul. Anyway, go ahead.
Did I put the emphasis on the wrong syllable?
Yeah, something like that. Go ahead.
Azul Mini. Like wifey and I will be watching Castle, laying in bed, playing Azul. Instead of playing on our phone while watching TV together, we just got a game of Azul going. It's real nice, real easy. Rob, you'll know this game, Brisca.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Puerto Rican trick-taking game, originally invented in Italy like 400-something years ago. So Brisca is a trick-taking game for anywhere between 2, 3, or 4 players. So you can do 3. Not many trick-taking games play 3.
No?
This is one of them. And the cool part about it is it's played with a 40-card deck. So you take out, in a regular deck of cards, you would just take out the 8, 9s, and 10s. That's 12 cards, right? Math. Takes it down to a 40-card deck. The only scoring cards are your kings, your queens, your jacks, so your face cards, and your aces and your threes. Those are the only cards that score points. Aces are worth 11, threes are worth 10, and that's the rank order and power as well. Kings are worth 4, queens are worth 3, and then jacks are worth 2, and then down the number rank from there. It's cool because the 3 is higher than all the face cards. I kind of look at it as the ace is like God, right? The Father, the God, and then 3 is like the Trinity. That'd be the next one in the rank. It's easy to remember it. Then the king, then the queen, then the jack, and then on down. So you're trying to get points by winning just those tricks, because you can win a trick and not win any points.
Yeah, it'd be worth nothing.
Be worth nothing. So that's the fun part, is trying to win at the right time. And in a 4-player game, you're playing across from each other in pairs.
If I remember, this game makes no sense because you go counterclockwise.
All Latino games go counterclockwise.
That's crazy.
It's just how we do.
Anyway,
maybe y'all get it wrong. Forgotten Waters is on my list of games that I played. I remember talking about this one and how it really got me itching to play RPG games. I'm so glad to get Forgotten Waters to the table. Dune Imperium.
number 1 game.
It's on my board, but it sure as heck ain't number 1. With all the expansions, I think Wayne was here for that one.
Nope.
Right? Oh,
No, I
Wayne missed that one.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
missed that one,
It was
unfortunately.
Max.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Max
was here.
Mhm.
Max and James.
And James brought it over, Jim Odak, and taught it to us. Dune Imperium, good stuff. Earth, still only at 1 play of Earth.
Oh, really?
So I had it set up on my table
You
for
must have
2
loved
weeks.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just kind of fiddled with it and just like never really made it happen again.
Yeah, we'll play
bring it
sometime.
Saturday, maybe. Get a quick game in.
I'm bringing that because I know some people don't have access to it. So if they want to play it, they can hang on to it and play it. But I'm also bringing this game that I played multiple times last month, Heat, Pedal to the Metal. Multiple times in the month of May that I get to play Heat. I'm really it's growing on me more and more every time I play it. And then when I played it solo, like it really hit.
Really?
Because it was so simple to just like practice the mechanisms of racing your car against that solo bot. It's almost like my feeling with Arnak. I liked it, then I played it solo and I loved it.
Okay.
Because it just has more value. Right? Now I got a game that I can play by myself or with friends and still have a great time.
But we're talking about practice.
We're talking about
Yes, not a game.
Practice, not a game.
But
practice.
what's interesting is like this week, like I've been walking every morning, right? And I've listened to podcasts, and like it seemed like this week every podcast reviewed Heat. Like I don't know why,
really?
but yeah, it was
That's
like
crazy.
it was like 5 or 6 different of the various board game podcasts I listened to.
I think
all
the
reviewed
second
it.
print just dropped.
Or
Yeah,
we
maybe.
started the conversation last week, so that's what it was.
Oh,
Yeah,
Here's
maybe.
a caller.
we're
Yeah.
trendsetters. That's who we are.
Yep.
Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name. Where you calling from?
Hello and good evening. Happy Thursday, gentlemen. This is Nick from West of Chapel.
Nick Oben, how
Hello,
are
Nick
you?
Oben. We are talking about games we played in the month of May. How do you want to contribute to the show?
Oh, the only way I knew how, I could talk about some 18XX.
Oh, wow. Okay, back to 18XX.
No, actually, first
Bowser
of all,
would be
first of all,
proud.
Yeah, there you go. I like the Craig is such a good guy.
Oh,
good,
yeah.
such a good dude. I love how he's actually jumped in and contributing to the Discord server.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of fun. But actually, the comment you were just making, I thought was really interesting. Talking about games that you played with a group and you liked it, and then you played solo and was like, "Oh, holy crap! This actually has even more value to me now." I actually am curious if there's other games like that. Not to put folks on the spot, but that's an interesting topic to me. Solo board games. It's something that when I first got into the hobby made no sense until quite simply someone explained it to me. As like, well, think about like a solo video game, right? Solo video games are so common.
Yeah.
All of the
I think
RPGs
major
are-
majority of them were solo for the longest time.
That's right.
Till Halo.
So, yeah, there you go. So rejiggering my thought about solo board games through that lens, where it's like, oh, it's just like a solo video game, but it's a board game. At least made me open to the idea of it. I think I still see board games as a social activity more than video games, but I don't mind the idea at all of a solo game. And just I like that topic. So I don't know if you want to go around the horn, if there's a game that people do like solo and or had that experience, played it solo, and they were like, oh, well, that's fun.
That's tough for me. I really don't ever play solo, and I've talked about Final Girl, but Final Girl's an only solo. I think you're talking about a game that you've played multiplayer, and then you've tried it solo, and it's given you some kind of light bulb moment. But I don't know that I ever have done that. I don't think, and again, it's just. I know some people do. Jim Odak talks about all the time about his favorite way to learn a game is to set up a 4-player game of it and play all 4 parts by himself while he's reading through the rules and learning it that way. And I'm sure that's extremely valuable. I mean, if you want, you can dedicate the time to doing that. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn how to play the game. You're going to learn some of the ins and outs, especially an asymmetrical game. You're going to learn a little bit about each of the factions and how they play or whatever. But I don't know that I have done that. I'm trying to recall a time where I've played a game, maybe multiplayer, and then gone back and just soloed it. And I don't know. It's just not my thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Bueno.
Wait, got anything?
The most recent Dune Imperium.
Soloed it?
Yeah. I mean, not in the last month or two, but a couple months ago, maybe, or right. And it has an app. So, it runs the card draw on the app, and it played pretty well solo. Which I enjoyed, and then also the Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition, which is like impossible solo. But those are the ones I enjoy. I try to do solo. I'm with Rob though. Like a lot of times I will set up a game to play it solo, and after I set it up, I just go.
I've done that. I've done that.
Like,
yeah.
Especially like on a weeknight. Like you've been working all day, you think, okay, I'm gonna try to get in a solo game, and then it hits that like the 9 o'clock hour after you set up. And like, why am I here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's tough. I think. Sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
I will say, I've been stopped prior to that moment where I'm looking at my game shelf, realizing, in an almost refreshing way, realizing, I could play a bunch of these solo. And it's kind of neat. It is a neat little mini Eureka moment where you think, oh crap, I got to get a group together. But so many good games have good solo modes that actually, if you are by yourself at 9 o'clock at night, hey, you can still play games you want, but I'll admit that I've been stopped more often than not, just at the thought of setting it up to play it by myself, right? Like,
Yep.
I'm like,
It's got to be a light setup game.
Yeah.
No side solo or nothing like that?
Oh, I've done a lot of side solo.
Oh, really? Have you?
I can look around here and tell you a lot of the solo games that I play. I know I say I'm not a solo gamer, but one of my favorite feelings is like Saturday morning before anybody else wakes up, and you catch everybody still sleeping, come out to the game room, the sun's shining in, I got a cup of coffee and like Scythe on the table that I'm kind of just running through the solo mechanisms peacefully and quietly. That's one of my favorite memories in this house. But solo-wise, GMT Games, I think, did a great job with what they call their solo system. So GMT's been making games forever. This solo system came out with modules included for a wide variety of their games in their system, in their catalog, that you can now play solo card-driven games like Command & Color's Ancients, Samurai Battles, Twilight Imperium, Twilight Struggle, right? All these different games that are card-driven. It created this one system that is generic enough to fit all of them, with modifications that use dice to determine what the opponent plays. And that has been a hit for me here at the house. I've been able to use it for Memoir 44, for the Ancients games, and really get a nice narrative played out on the table on my own. Outside of like wargaming solo, just looking at this table, Wayne, you mentioned it, Ares Expedition. That's a quick, easy, light one to set up for solo play.
Yeah.
But I never win.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Ever.
It's tough,
Just
man.
beats you down.
It does. I think also the rolling rights. Like I've done the
this is a given.
super skill pinball and the cartographers, a bunch of those. I really want to play the Lost Ruins of Arnak like solo campaign that they have the app and it's on the website and you can.
Oh, that's right. The new expansion came with a campaign for it.
Well, no, they even or like the new expansion is going to have a campaign. I think that's meant for multiplayer.
That's
but they
coming
have
out,
a
yeah.
solo campaign on their website that's free and you can download it, use it as an app, and it just takes you through multiple games where it's like a story-driven game where you're looking for a lost professor or something like that.
Is that solo only, or is that possibly multiplayer?
I think it's solo only.
I think that one was solo only.
That
Okay.
one's solo only, yeah.
Arnak was a great setup for solo. Terraforming Mars, Ares Expedition. I'm just looking around, just like at my table space right now, solo-wise. There's Blitzkrieg has a beautiful solo system. Hail Caesar has a beautiful solo system. Cascadia probably has one of the simplest solo mechanisms or rule set, and it just still feels so good to play. Just really getting that on the table.
Yeah.
Heat was another great solo game. Patchwork has a solo expansion that I bought. Had it shipped from Germany. Just a deck of cards that runs it Automa solo-wise. Scythe was another one. I mean, I've played a lot of solo games. I know I say I don't solo.
You do a lot, yeah.
Now,
Nick, I know you're a fan of
Um,
Arnak. Would the solo campaign be of interest to you in Arnak?
Absolutely. No, I was going to say 2 comments real quick. Wayne, if you have it handy or if you just know the Google
The
fee
link?
to find it,
Yeah.
please drop that link. I absolutely would. That got me excited to hear about a solo campaign in Arnak. That sounds awesome. And 2, Carlos, you may pretend like you're not a solo player, but did you just hear the last 30 seconds of your show?
Yeah, I mean, that's all solo. That's a lot of solo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I just
let's face
posted it
I
in
mean,
the
you have
YouTube.
the best chance.
Sorry.
I was just saying you have the best chance of winning when you play solo. I mean,
That's my only chance of winning is when I play solo.
And you saying that just as I'm sitting here thinking this is gonna be an honest moment with Rob here, but
Hold on. I gotta have some music for that or
music. Zoom the camera in. Yeah. As an honest moment with Rob. I think just thinking about this, I am competitive. Everybody knows I'm competitive, but I don't think I have interest in competing against myself. You know, a lot of these games, you're just trying to beat your last score. You're trying to do better than you did last time. You're trying to, beat a boss and then maybe move to a harder boss or whatever. But as much as I talk about not liking people and being interactive with people, if I'm not playing against somebody, the hobby really loses it for me.
The thrill is gone.
Yeah. I mean, I am. Yeah, whatever that says about me, I'm ultra competitive. Whatever, I'm just a punk because all I want to do is win games. But I mean, it loses a lot of its flavor for me, a lot of its excitement if I'm not sitting across from 1 or 2 or 3 other people and actually playing with somebody and trying to outwit somebody or probably not the best choice of words.
I think that's the key point there, Rob. It's not that you have a hunger or thirst to win. You want the challenge of a person. You want the challenge of another human being who's trying to outwit you.
Absolutely.
Which I get. I mean, that's sure. It does feel playing a solo game where last time I scored 87 and now I want to see if I can get to 90 or something. It is very systematic. It does feel. Again, you have to kind of embrace that video game mindset of I am just trying to beat the game. I am just trying, kind of thing. Which is, if it's not your thing, then that's not, because that's what the social activity of board games can bring is that outwitting moment where you do outsmart another human being across the table, and that's fun, right? And witness me. This is cool, right?
Yeah.
I don't get to say witness me when I'm by myself.
Oh, you still do. Don't even tell us that.
I still do, and I laugh, but it doesn't have the same fervor.
And this has been an honest moment with Rob.
The more you know.
All right. Well, hey, fun topic. I actually didn't mean to.
Oh, Furnace.
Call in and talk about
Furnace.
Solo game,
awesome solo game. Furnace has an awesome solo setup. I can do this all day. I guess I never. 51st State. Holy moly, that is an awesome solo game. Like that, and I'm with you, Rob. And this is why I don't like playing rolling rights, flipping rights solo, because it does feel like beat my score, yay! Oh, can I beat my score, yay! Right? Exercise. I don't like that. The reason I like playing solo games is because I get to explore the mechanisms and the strategies within that game so that I can try to employ them. Employ, is that a word?
Yeah.
Against my opponents the next time I play against them. So that to me is the driver of the solo game, is to explore the game, figure it out, grok it on my own, where I'm free to make mistakes without fear of being made fun of. Okay.
Yeah. I like that. I like that, and that makes sense. Having a little introspective on myself, I will say that even for multiplayer games, this is going to sound a little weird, and I don't mean anything negative. I hope everyone still plays with me online for this game. But even for multiplayer plays of Tapestry, recently, and I say recently, probably in the last 6 months, I actually had that thing, Carlos, you just said, where my mission is to grok the game and do as well as I can in this game, more so than at the expense of my opponents or trying to beat them. It's kind of Tapestry. I do feel like is how well can you do? And yes, there's interaction. There's a little bit of a race element to the landmarks, right? And then obviously there's a race to like the center and area control. There are things the other players do that mess with you, but especially playing on BGA, it feels like it's a bit of me versus the game. I'm trying to score, hit that 300 or whatever your goal is, right? That one, I feel that. I feel that kind of like I'm trying to just get this game and get good at this game for my score, not counting wins and losses, but rather I'm actually paying attention to the score at that point.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing I hadn't thought of. I think I agree to that to some extent. And then sometimes I felt, you mentioning Tapestry specifically, I've felt playing online, and maybe it's just because the number of games I've played of it now online, that I'm starting to get to the point where I'm experimenting a little bit. I'm like, you know what? I don't ever do the science track. Next time I play, I'm just going to try the science track, good or bad, win or fail, whatever. I'm going to go heavy on that one to see, because I've never been able to make that one work. And so I feel a little freer now that I guess maybe that I've played enough games. I don't feel quite as competitive in it. I don't need to prove anything anymore. Let's just throw a few games in.
You got more than 63 points?
Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah. 263 maybe, but yeah. Anyway. So that's interesting.
260.
No, and actually, right there with you, exactly. The few times I've played the science track have been with that mindset. I'm like, I'm just going to try it. I'm going to commit to the science track. I'll tell you, later in the game, eras 3 and 4.
Yep.
The science track is lit. The science track like snaps, man. It is good. You get free. You bump up on the science track and you get like 2 free movements on the tech or the military or whatever, and all of a sudden you're doing like 6 resources worth of movement for that one science bump. Like what? I mean, it's good.
Yeah, I've had once where I did really well on it, and I've had once where it just fell flat for me. Even though I maxed out the science track, I think I finished third out of 4 people, and so it's been hit and miss. So I haven't figured that one out yet.
It probably depends on the faction you have and whatnot. But
yeah, for sure.
Anyway,
I can't grok that game for some reason, man.
Wayne's not on it?
I get 150 to 175 every time. I never do any better, never do any worse. It's just like consistently mediocre.
I really gotta make good. There's a couple of games here where I truly would love to host live plays and just talk through it. I mean, not that I'm an expert. In fact, my good friend Bowser has come in and like throat stomped me the 2 times I think we played on BGA on Tapestry now. He's got that game figured out for sure. But I mean, I do well, and then there's other games. In fact, Benny just threw out Feast for Odin. Feast for Odin is a game that he said he enjoys playing, but that's a game where if you don't know the paths, you don't know tracks that are unwritten, right? I mean, if all of the actions are all available right now, right? From turn 1, you could do anything you want. Almost too much freedom for a new player. There are some tracks you kind of have to know the path to build up on. Are you doing animals? Are you doing exploration? Are you doing raiding? Like, what are you doing? That's another one where I would love to host a live play of it and kind of answer questions that people have. So Feast for Odin, Crusaders is one that I do love. I know we talked about that on the podcast before, and then Tapestry and probably a handful of others. We gotta do a thing.
Yeah,
I'll do a thing.
Live plays.
Host a series, yeah.
I just finished a 3-player game with your buddy Bowser in Tapestry, and I'm never gonna play him again.
Oh, that bad, huh? He's pretty good.
Well, it was myself, it was Bowser, and it was Jim Odak, and he had 290 something. I was in 150 something, and Jim was in the 90s.
Oh wow!
It was like I'm out.
I got to play.
I think the first game I made a big deal. I even posted about it on the Discord when I finally broke 300 because I had been paying attention to the score, and I had been hunting that 300 score for a hot minute in the base game, which is all you can play in BGA. First time I played Craig on BGA, I think he got like 363 or something.
Wow.
And I'm like, you son of a
Yeah. I've been right at 300 a couple times, but I've never gone 363. That's crazy. Yeah.
Anyways, no, good stuff. Actually, good segue there. I have actually been doing some more 18xx online. That continues to be a lot of fun. I'll happily do another session. I know, Wayne, you said you'd be interested to go again. So it's another one we could just do another live play of that. I know there was more interest. Sam had said she was interested, and I think maybe Ashley. There were a few other folks that were interested that night. Dan was interested, originally signed up, but then couldn't make it, which I could fine. It let Craig play. But yeah, that'd be fun.
Cool.
All right, I'm gonna do it. Someone tell me to do it. And Mondays and Wednesdays, in general, actually, are not. Well, Wednesdays we do Frosthaven every other Wednesday, but Monday nights are free in general for me. So we gotta figure that out.
Do it.
All right. Well, I made it past the 10 o'clock hour. That's my job.
Nice. And all of that without cussing.
Take us over the bridge. Yeah.
Get you to the fun part. Very good. The one game I played since last week, calling in, the boys and I played Sushi Go.
Oh, see, there he goes. He's already cussing.
He's already dropping the F-bombs. No. after 10 here Eastern. Sushi Go. Yeah, that's on my shelf. That's a game I've introduced a lot of people to. Solid. I would say it's probably my go-to game right now especially for portability, just putting a deck of cards in your pocket and going somewhere. But for teaching people the draft mechanic in gaming,
yep.
I think Sushi Go is a wonderful game to teach new gamers.
But I have regular Sushi Go, and then there's Sushi Go Party. So I feel like I'm missing out on something because it has the word party.
Party.
And I don't have that one. Should I get rid of my regular Sushi Go and seek out Sushi Go Party? Does anybody have an answer for me on that one?
I think
things I've been thinking about.
So yeah, I actually don't own Party, and I wish I did. I own Sushi Go, and it's great. But the Party lets you change out some of the cards, so you can have variability to the game. It's just not just the same 5 or 6 like sushi types in in the game. So you have like, I don't know, there's like 6 or 7 other types of cards you can shuffle in, and gives you a more variability and playability in the game.
Okay, so which I'm not always a huge fan of more, because especially with newer players, more might be too much. So maybe I should be okay with my 10.
I mean, I haven't really gone out to buy Sushi Go Party. I have Sushi Go, but I wouldn't mind owning it because I think it adds enough variability without making too much complexity.
Yeah, William says I saw there. More variety and allows for more players. I've never actually played it, but I hear from everybody that it's better.
The definitive version?
Yeah. I like the portability of Sushi Go. Again, it's smaller, it's less cards, less variety or whatever, but it's just a deck of cards. I mean, you can take that little 10 just about anywhere. If you don't want to take the 10 for some reason, you just grab the deck of cards, put them in your pocket, put them in a Ziploc bag. I've done that before, and just thrown them in a Ziploc bag and carried them somewhere if I'm going camping or something. And that's a game you can teach in 2 minutes. You just pull it out. So, yeah, it probably doesn't have the flexibility and the variety that Party has, but I'm happy with Sushi Go. I mean, unless I was in a situation where I had to play, I don't know what Party plays to, 8 people or whatever.
But I feel like Point Salad has taken that spot.
Ooh, not for me. I don't think.
No?
No. I like Point Salad, but I think Sushi Go is simpler. Point Salad, the having to teach the extra mechanic of you draft different kinds of cards to get points in different ways. In Sushi Go, you do get points a certain set of ways, but there's only like 5 different ways to get points, if I remember, 5 or 6.
That stays the same.
It's the same every game, so yeah.
I'm going to have to find it, bust it out.
Yeah, that's what I would say is I'm the one that brought up the play of it. I will say that at this point it is very samey, right? When me and the boys play, it's kind of like, all right, well,
yeah.
Do I want to go for the sashimi or whatever? You know, there's the tempura. There's the set you need 2 of, the set you need 3 of, and then there's just the actual sushi and the nigiris and then the puddings to be aware of. And the dumplings,
yeah.
So I'm actually interested. We have regular. I'm interested in more variety from Party. So if anyone did have a copy, I'd play. But no, it was just it was me. It was after dinner just last night. And it was kind of like that's right. We couldn't do our Frosthaven game. We haven't had an update from Mr. Garcia, but baby is imminent. It sounds like
any day now. Yep.
Yeah, we didn't want to commit to. Being away, playing a board game, and then have his wife go into labor.
Smart man. Yeah. Smart man.
Yeah.
I'm taking notes.
Yep. But yeah, so I had a free night last night, and so we Leo, the middle child, picks that one out, and was all excited about it. So it is definitely one of those light, easy to play, just plain simple fun on your turn. So
I will say, Nick, the Sushi Go Party is available on BGA. So if you wanted to try out some of the variation in that, we could set up a couple games of that and play it.
Yeah, we need to do that then. Yeah, somebody post that.
That'd be a light, fast tournament.
Because I'm not currently a paid member, so somebody needs to post that for me.
Yes, it is a premium game, Robert. It is a premium game.
Okay.
Love it. Awesome. All right. Well, you guys have a great rest of your show. I'm going to let you go and head on to the rest of my night.
Thanks for calling in, Nick, as always. And we'll see if we can sushi in some Frosthaven next week. We'll see. We'll have to see what's going on in Joe's life, but we'll see.
Yep, sounds good, guys.
Talk to you later. Have a good night.
Yep.
All right, Fun Line's back open. So
okay, yeah, I was in my May games. That's where we're at. The three of us are going to May games. I did Heat was the last game I talked about. And now we're back. Games played in May. Hero Quest, multiple games of Hero Quest, which I had originally played with Rob 6 months ago or more.
Gosh, yeah, probably more, but yeah.
When I think earlier when it finally delivered. However, playing it with the family was a completely different experience because we're doing it cooperative now that they have the app.
So
they didn't have the app. Yeah, it did.
Yep.
They didn't have the app when Rob and I played, so I had to play the bad guy. Rob had to play the good guy, and it was just a back and forth dice chucker.
Yeah.
But playing it cooperatively, I didn't care so much that the mechanics were light. It was about the story. Right? So working together as a family, the elf, the dwarf, the wizard, and the barbarian with the broadsword. Speaking of the broadsword, I said broadsword, and look who showed up.
What's up?
Pops into the show there. Mitchell from New Iberia, Louisiana. How are you?
Son of a Mitch. Look who's here.
Doing well. How are y'all?
We are talking games played in May. So while we have you here, what about you? Do you want to contribute to games played? Oh, we got comments. Mitchell's played. He's probably
so I was going to call, but every time I call, callers are like, you got the link. Why don't you just drop in the link? So
that's what he tells everybody. Yeah.
So the game I've been playing a lot of recently, and I mentioned on the podcast this past week, is Twilight Inscription. It's been a big hit for me this past week. I played it like 5 times in 7 days.
Wow. Yeah, I listened to the podcast. I think you said it was rated weight-wise for you like a 1.5.
Yeah, sure.
Not quite. But
you just said it had a lot of spaces. It was an easy rolling right. It just had a lot of spaces.
Yeah, honestly, each sheet. So there's 4 sheets, and it's 4 different mini. You muted me? Okay, there you go.
Sorry.
Each mini game is not that hard to understand. It's just the idea of having to bounce and balance all these mini games at one time. So it's like playing 4 games at one time. You know, like those chess masters do.
Yeah.
So no big deal.
I've played
no big deal.
And won Isle of Cats while playing a game of Blood Bowl at the same time.
I keep telling this
all about
story
that.
From Escape Winner. Yeah. All right.
You're welcome. I gave you the lead in to tell that story
at
again.
one time. If I can play 2 games at one time, my ADD works just fine. I can focus on both.
Anyway.
But yeah, I'm surprised you guys haven't played it yet. I mean, it's a pretty big name. I know we got some TI fans over in that neck of the woods.
So
haven't you guys picked this one up yet?
I'm not such a big fan, but I want to play Inscription because that seems to be right up my alley. I love Hadrian's Wall. I say love. I've only played all the way through one time, but I'm dying to get some more plays of that. But this sounds similar. I'd say pretty similar, but I mean, obviously some different mechanisms, obviously a way different setting. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like that's the kind of game I'd really enjoy.
Yeah, so it's a similar weight-wise, I would say, to Twilight. Hadrian's Wall, but a ton more player interaction. So with Hadrian's Wall, really the only interaction you have is like if you're using the goods that they have on their cards.
Yep.
With this, I mean, you're fighting the 2 people next to you. You're racing to get certain objectives. It's probably one of the most interactive roll and writes in terms of player interaction that I've played. So big plus on that for me.
Cool.
For me, the issue's been, and I don't know if this is a medical term, but roll and write burnout.
Yeah, there's been a lot lately. They've been hot.
I kind of have that roll and write burnout right now. Like, and DJ Khaled, another one, another one.
I think honestly, what it is that roll and writes during quarantine, designers are like, okay, we got to do more of these, got to pump these out, and then now they're finally like hitting the shelves, and it's like, well, we got 1 million of these already, you know.
Yeah,
BJ,
Stronghold
wait,
just like copied one and just changed a couple of things
Copy
and
and paste.
named it
Copy
something
and paste,
different.
yeah.
Stronghold was big on that.
I see BJ in the chat. I was just watching their stream a second ago. They're streaming
Yeah.
right now.
They are, yeah.
We've
we
been
mentioned
chatting
that.
back and forth.
We had him on here at Carlos's house right before we went
Wait, he's actively streaming right now?
Yeah, yeah.
Wait a minute. I'm so lost. He's streaming and commenting on our
Yeah,
show.
he's commenting on our comments.
And I'm streaming and
talented.
commenting on his show, so it's all
Yeah,
good.
he's multitasking.
Dude, we can't do this. There's going to be like a rift in the timelines. Like
We're gonna tear time and space here.
88 miles
That
an
was-
hour, Marty
That was
McFly.
his
This is
whole
going to be
comment
bad.
on Inscription. Like he's listening to me talk, and then I'm commenting on his stream as more text.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
And then last night I got my second play-in of Starship Captains. That one hit well for you guys as well, correct?
Robert.
I liked it. Yeah, I don't think Carlos has played it yet. I liked it. I was a little underwhelmed just because, again, the hype train. I mean, everybody was talking about this game for months and months, and so I had built it up to be something in my head that was. I was like, I can't wait to play this game. When I played it, I was like, oh, this is a good game. It was a little lighter than I think I was expecting. I thought there was going to be a little more going on in it, but it's fun. Pick up and deliver. I mean, I think it's a game Carlos would like. He loves pick up and deliver. You're flying little spaceships around. You're completing little tasks. It's a fun game, but I don't know. I've only played it the one time. You've played it definitely more than I have. Would you call it family weight? I think it might be a little more than family weight.
A little bit more than that.
Yeah.
I think the biggest complaint I hear about is the playtime being pretty quick. But
Yeah.
for me, at least the last several months, I've been so busy. I talked about this on the podcast. Those like 1 hour wonders, as BJ calls them.
Yeah.
Lately, those have been my jam. Now that it's summertime and I have more time, maybe I'll get back into some heavier stuff like I really like. But when I can get that much game in just a little bit of time and I can teach somebody pretty quickly, that's golden for me these days.
Yeah, it's fun. I enjoyed it. It was good. I definitely play it again. Yeah.
And the way
who do we know that owns it?
What's
I'm
that?
not sure. They had a copy of it, I think, in Armada.
Armada has a copy?
Armada's
All right, so I'm going to have to make it up there to play it then.
Yep.
One of the cool things about that game mechanically, so you're going around in space, completing different missions, and the way that it works, whenever you complete a mission, this like tile flips over the highest number tile flips from one space to the space you're in, and where you're taking the tile, a mission spawns there. And it's like it keeps you from just camping in one place. Like I've heard a lot of complaints about Zaya, space game where you can just like go back and forth between two planets and sell the same good over and over again and win the game that way. But it's kind of impossible to do that in Starship Captains because of this mechanic. And it's a countdown. So once you've flipped all those, then the pirates attack and then it resets. And so it's thematic, but it also keeps you from just, playing in a cheap way. How do I win as quickly as possible without really playing kind of thing. It fixes that.
And I will say in Zaya, just for our listeners, they did fix that in the expansion. There's a market
yes, with
now.
the trade economy.
Zaya
thing.
apologist.
Right. You can only get so many times you can do that route, and then those cubes go away, and then you got to find something different to do. So they did kind of fix that. But
Can't spam it.
Yeah, but Zaya's a good game. But yeah, I definitely the same feels. Zaya's a 3-4 hour game. Kind of the same feel a little bit here in, like you say, like in an hour. I mean, it's a quick game.
Yep, and it'll be that's one of our demos at Southern Board Game Fest.
I saw listening to
I saw one
you
Robert
and BJ
Childers on the
talking.
badge list, and a
Yes,
Daniel
I am. I'm
Herbzik
excited.
and a Jim Odak. I'm excited
Yes.
about.
For sure. The three of us have already bought our tickets. There's a few more talking. Wayne said he was like 90-10, but he's maybe not so much.
Yeah,
but
probably not.
Nick was talking about possibly coming, so he's still looking into it. There's a couple other people in the group. I'm going to post something in the Discord soon just to kind of start getting an idea, because we're talking now about starting to make some arrangements. We're talking maybe flying into New Orleans, spending a night in New Orleans and a day in New Orleans, then making the trip over, maybe grabbing a rental car. Then it's, about 2.5 hours from New Orleans to the Lafayette area. So
Yeah, sounds about right.
yeah, it's about doable. And then I know you graciously offered a place for a couple of us to stay, possibly. So we're batting around that idea, whether we're going to do that or we're going to just try to get an Airbnb somewhere close. But either way, you've got at least 3 of us, probably maybe 4 or 5 coming. I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, we'll definitely talk it up as we get closer. But yeah, for everybody who knows, I mean, Mitchell can tell us all about it. But you've got a pre-sale. I believe the pre-sale is still going on. Is that right?
Today is the last day for early bird tickets. I said it this way on BJ's stream.
Yep.
Technically, it's early bird prices for previous badge holders. But if you found your way to the website, and even if you're not a previous badge holder, it's not going to prevent you from buying one. But tomorrow the price goes up by $10.
Okay, so tomorrow. So you got till
Tonight.
till midnight tonight.
No, hold on.
Yeah, I
Today's
was listening-
Thursday. I'm sorry, it's summer. I'm all out of whack. Friday's the last day. So
Friday, oh, you got
you have
another
until
day then.
tomorrow.
Okay, you got tomorrow then. Good.
Yeah.
I was listening to you and BJ talk about the learning games and the teaches that goes on, and I got to say it's one of the things that really stood out for me in our trip to Southern Board Game Fest was that teaching area. It really felt dedicated in a way that I can't say I felt in other cons.
Yep.
In other cons, it's so spread out. It has been publisher focused. So it almost feels like a sales pitch, right? Where when we went and learned games at Sobo, it was someone who is as passionate about games as I am, literally teaching me the whole game. Not a, hey, come learn and play a few rounds.
Play a round or two. Yeah.
Do you want to buy a copy?
Yeah.
No, it was, all right, we're going to teach you this whole game, and I will be your umpire and your coach from start to finish. Like, you had your dedicated umpire and coach throughout that whole game to walk that group through that game, and that just felt different. Southern Board Game Fest in Lafayette, Louisiana, October 14th and 15th,
Yep.
if I get that right.
That's right.
Top of my head,
And-
not like I've been watching.
And we'll have kind of like the soft launch the night before, where if you know the right people, you guys can come on Friday night as well. We get into
Sweet.
because we can kind of move
know
in that
BJ,
night,
so-
and we have until I think like 11 p.m. to move in, and we move in really quickly, and then we game until 11 p.m. So
Yeah,
we'll
just
be
tell
doing
me-
that again. So we could start Friday night even.
Tell them you know BJ and Mitch, and they'll let you in early.
Well, Mitch, we got a call coming in. Beans and Ice Podcast. State your name. Where you calling from?
Hey, it's Jim Odak.
Oh,
Hey,
Jim Odak.
How are you?
Hey, we were
Mitchell's
just
going to
talking
be in
about you.
Lafayette. Your ears must have been burning. We were talking about you.
No, I wanted to ask Mitch, are we gonna get a game of Great Wall in?
Oh, I hope we do. I have a buddy who's going to be there that has it. I don't know if you'll be able to fit that big thing on your in your bag if
His
you're
luggage?
coming on a plane. But yeah, I got a buddy that has it. I'm
That's
sure
not-
he'd
that's not a
love
good
to
quality
have a game
game.
of it with you guys who already know it.
Sweet.
Rob, have you played that one yet?
I have not. I'm wanting to play it. It's actually high. It's probably in my top 5 of games I want to play right now. So yeah, I know Jim, big lover of that game. He's been talking to people in our group one after another to get it played. And
No,
every
he's not
time-
a lover. He's a zealot.
Oh yeah, well, there you go.
Well, you're-
So you got to come all the way to Louisiana
signed
to
up
get
to
Rob
play,
to play a game of Great Wall with you, Jim.
Go ahead, Jim.
Well, no, he signed up to play the first day of Dice Tower.
Dice Tower. That's right. Yep, on Wednesday afternoon-ish, I think. After
You already signed up for games?
one.
Yeah.
One.
I haven't
Yeah.
signed up for anything.
Jim posted games, so he gave me the inside track. So I
I'm
jumped
showing
in
up
there.
to hang out and have fun
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I will.
You
be
mean
playing it-
show up like a day late and then
on my own
you
time.
know go hang out with your family all day and then play a quick game of cartographers and then we won't
Hit
see
the
you
pool
again?
for a little bit. Go get some CC's pizza, maybe some Taco Bell. I don't know. Feeling cute. Just
Well-
might get some Taco
While
Bell.
we're playing games, me and Ron and Mitch and Wayne, the other 20 people from our group are going to be there playing games.
Oh,
Well, I
yeah.
won't
I don't,
be
I
there.
don't, I
Play
don't
games
Mitchell
till
will
I
be
drop.
there.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Mitchell's not going to be there this
I
year.
heard
That's
Wayne
right.
was gone and then I was like, I don't think I can make it.
Not going to make it this year. No, that's right.
We can only afford one Hobbit.
But Jim will be there. Jim will be there playing games, right?
No, as I said, with you guys. I'm gonna play games till I drop.
That's my kind of gamer. Let's do it.
I'm driving over Wednesday morning real early, getting there, boop, and
Yep.
that's it.
I know it's Jim's time right now, but let me just ask you, Mitchell, but while it's in my head, I heard something about tournaments maybe this year?
Yeah, so we had tournaments in previous years. Our year coming back from COVID, it was just a crazy year. We had to reschedule so many times. And so John, who's in charge of the con, was like, look, let's just keep it simple and have a con. So we didn't have tournaments last time. So we're going to have some tournaments this year. We haven't definitely landed on what they were going to be. I do know the year before COVID, it was a scythe tournament. That was a lot of fun. Carlos, careful, don't have PTSD. I know you heard the word scythe and tournament,
scythe
and you
tournament.
died a little bit inside.
Flashbacks. Yeah.
But
That
yeah,
was
we're going
rough.
to have some
Yeah, by the
some
way.
tourney. Not sure what it is yet.
Cool. And let me ask you just the last thing, and then I'll give it back to Jim here. Play and take, is that a thing this year?
Yes, just like last
Oh,
year,
that
play
was
to win.
fun.
So if you play a game at least one time, we have a certain number of those titles. They'll put your name in a hat. Last year, I think Dan
I
won maybe
didn't.
Azul
Somebody in the
stained
group won
glass.
one. Yeah, I think
Dan won stained glass, and I won flip. That little flip and fill game.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
I
talked to me
remember.
at Chili's.
Another stronghold title.
Yeah, yeah.
Ripple Rush, which we
That's
ended
what
up
it was.
playing at the bar
Yep.
at the Chili's.
Chili's.
Because Taco Bell wasn't open.
Yep. Anyway, back to you, Jim.
Hey, sign me up for the scythe tournament. I'm in.
Side tournament. Yeah, so if you got a side tournament, put Jim's name down.
I don't know if it's gonna be Scythian. I think we're gonna probably try something different, but I'll let you guys know as soon as we've decided on that.
Awesome.
So we're talking about games we played in May.
Go for it.
That's the topic, right?
That's what we're doing.
I got a lot of games, but I mean, obviously, one of the ones I'll pick out we've talked about is First Rat. That's probably my favorite from that day.
Yeah.
I think you described it as one of the ones that really surprised you with how good it was. First Rat.
Yeah, I heard a couple of good things about it, and so I had to open up mind that Wayne's Candyland didn't throw me off.
Yep.
Comparison. No, I really liked it. It's a simple but really thinky. Like a lot of, you can get really crazy with it, with trying to plan out moves.
I got to play it. I know. I watched y'all play the last couple of turns, and it looked like fun. But I gotta get that one in. Yeah.
Wayne's
I
been
think
talking
actually-
that one up on the podcast a lot.
A little
Yeah,
bit. And
for
I think BJ actually just mentioned on his show in the last week or so. He talked about it, and Dice Tower keeps coming up. So it's one of those games that like kind of went under the radar a little bit. That I think could circle back around. I think people would really enjoy if they played.
Cool.
Yeah. The other game, and I played it again last night, is Hegemony.
Ah,
Man, that is a really good game.
you're liking it, huh?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to bring it to Dice Tower, so we'll get it out once there.
What's your average playtime
there's
coming down to now?
4.5 hours.
What?
4.5
the
hours.
average?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's-
it's
that's
not like a
4 other
long
games.
4.5 hours. Like you realize, oh my God, it's been 4 hours.
I'm with you, Wayne. That's 4 games.
It is so. It's so involved. Like you have this deck, everybody has a different deck, and they're doing things, and you're trying to work with the others and get your people paid or get your companies to produce. It is really good.
Hmm.
I want to play it, but not at Dice Tower. I gotta play that on a Saturday or Sunday before or after.
Yeah, and that's another debate we'll have to have as it gets closer. We talk about that every year, last few years, about the difference between Carlos and I.
Quantity or quality?
Yeah, he wants to go and play the 4 or 5 hour Clash of Cultures and games that he just doesn't play because
3 times in one day, baby.
Yeah, because they're
3
just
times
so
in
long.
one day.
I'm the other way. If I'm there, I've got access to that Dice Tower library. I've got 2,000 and something games there. I want to knock out.
I don't care about.
I want to knock out as many of those games that I don't own, that people don't have them in my group, that I want to get those played. So, yeah, we'll talk more about that. We'll put that one on the back burner for now. But yep.
The other game I want to bring up that I played is Barrage with the Nile expansion.
Haven't played that.
It's been a hot one at TGG. We really like to play that. The Nile expansion gives you, instead of just processing water, you can actually sell your water on the Nile to get some special powers. Not powers, like one time. And then it's another point track. I mean, Barrage is a heavy game as it is, so it's not like a first timer should play the Nile, but for people that played it a few times and want more heavy, it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a heavy game. I've played once in person. I've played probably 4 or 5 times on BGA now. Fun game. I like it, but there's a decent amount to think about in that game, and I've had some games where I've just gotten creamed because I did things in the wrong order. So it's a game that definitely more plays benefits, but I don't know if I'm ready for expansions yet. I pretty well like the base game. I think that's pretty thinky, but yeah, I guess if you played it enough times and you're looking for an expansion, sounds like that maybe is the way to go.
Yeah. Not work. Another game that didn't quite May, it's actually June, but we played Revive 4-player.
I want to play that.
That was really good too. I think I'm going to go. There's been some chatter about the comic book place in Mississippi Downs, and I know they have a copy. I may be heading over there to get one.
Over on Coliseum Comics, yeah,
That full retail plus like 20%.
Everything over there is overpriced. I'll tell you. I just was in there just this last weekend, and yeah, like Carlos is not kidding. When it's retail plus 10%,
we got kicked out of there trying to play.
Yes, we did.
X-wing.
Yes, we did.
It was they were salty.
They
with
chased us off.
Never went back since.
Nope.
Never been back since.
I hadn't been back in about a year. Yeah, but
good stories.
Unfortunately, it's hard to find right now.
Is it? Oh, okay. Well, I guess sometimes we got to do what we got to do for our hobby.
Yeah, you do it for the squad, right? It'll be in the community now.
Take one for the team.
All right, Jim.
And the last one I bring up that I heard a lot about that I actually didn't really like that much was the how's it called? The Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Quedlinburg.
Oh man,
Quacks.
that's a good one.
I like Quacks. I do.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it.
That's
You
too-
lost.
that's
I
too-
bet you lost.
Well, it's too light for you, Jim. I know your taste. I played enough
Yeah.
games with you. Yeah, you're not into those quick little luck-based light games, but that's what that one's all about. That's just light fun. I mean, sometimes you're going to get bad draws. You're just going to get creamed in that. It's got the whole press your luck thing. So if you're not keen on the press your luck, and sometimes you're just going to bust 3 times in a row, and your game's going to suck. But you got to laugh about it and move on. But yeah, that's.
Jim's like, do I? No, I don't. I can just put it back on the shelf and walk away.
Well, I think what probably why I'm so turned on the very last round, right? I drew, and I had the least likeliness of doing that. I drew all the bad tokens right away and busted.
Yeah, that happens.
It was, yeah. But anyway, that was my input. Just say hi to Mitch.
Will
I didn't
do.
See Mitch on the show much.
Yeah, everybody
I
should
know,
call
look
and
at
say
that.
hi to
Everybody
Mitchell.
got excited when Mitch
Hey,
showed
Mitch
up.
is here. It's been a little while.
Thanks for your call, man. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Jim. Have a good evening.
I guess Jim's not the only one that was super excited when Mitch came on the show, and I'm wondering here. Let me get my camera set up here.
Uh-oh.
I'm curious if this had anything to do with it. Today, I had decided it is after hours, so I will get to undress a little bit here.
Uh-oh.
It's funny because this is a shirt I'm wearing today, and Mitch happens to join us on the show. Robert got me this shirt.
This is
Our
what I
last
got?
trip
Oh,
to
I know
Louisiana.
I know what it is.
I got bourbon faced on street.
And he did. We've told this story.
Is it a coincidence?
Well,
that
It's
this
like
is
my
the shirt I'm
my
wearing?
my Cajun senses were tingling. I guess.
Yeah.
It's like he put it on, and I was like,
What's Carlos wearing now?
yeah, yeah.
Red polo and khakis.
That's great. Well, I'm actually I can't hang out for too long. I was just gonna call, but I knew Carlos was gonna make fun of me for not coming on the stream. Because my wife's in New Orleans actually right now at a karate tournament, so I'm home with the kids and they need me to do some things. But I just want to say before I go, if you guys haven't yet, you guys need to check out the Board Game Gumbo stream from Tuesday night, where BJ and I were playing a review copy of a game called Roll Camera, where you make a movie.
Oh, I heard about it.
And Wayne, at the end, you're supposed to like take the 5 scenes that you made, like they have little pictures on them, and make a movie out of it. And I was like, I'm not sure. And Wayne's like, come on, theater guy. And then I was like, you know what? This guy is Wayne, and he clogged his toilet. And then he calls the plumber, and the plumber's angry. And BJ goes, it kind of looks like a bean. I said, it's Carlos. And I was like, why is he mad? BJ goes, he's going to miss the gender reveal, and Melissa's going to kill him. And it just evolved from there. It was funny. You guys should check it out. It's probably around the middle of that stream before we got to playing Twilight Description. It was great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Teach
Teach
thanks
me
for
to
the shout
comment
out
on
on that.
on BJ's stream ever again.
Yeah, that's great.
That was good.
Good to see your
That,
face.
that game looked fun too.
Yeah, it was fun. It was, a lot of times whenever you're playing a movie game, it's like you're pitching ideas, and it's kind of like apples to apples, and people are just picking which one's better. But this one actually had mechanics, and it was good for a cooperative game. I don't think Carlos would love it, only because you can definitely quarterback it and just tell everybody what to do. But there's a couple little things that can help with that. Like whenever you want to play a card, you have to give it to somebody else, and they choose which card to play. So it may help mitigate that a little bit. That was kind of cool.
Cool.
I think you likened it a little bit to the Epic. What's that game?
Pandemic.
No. Stormlight Archives has a version called Call to Adventure.
Call to Adventure.
Oh yeah.
That's what you kind of likened it to, which I really liked my plays of Call to Adventure.
Mm-hmm. Mechanically, not a lot like that, but thematically, kind of. Yeah.
All right, Bobby.
Yeah, well, thanks for letting me
thanks
pop
for
in.
showing up.
I do plan on being around. I know I've been saying this for months, but like my third show in a row that kind of all happened at once closed this past weekend, and it's summertime, so I'll be around more. I will. I promise.
Nice. Everybody listening to the podcast, Wayne and Mitchell have a was it a weekly podcast?
Whenever Carlos uploads it on the right day, yeah, it's weekly.
Yeah, we gotta poke
Listen,
Carlos. Yeah.
here's what's funny is I swore I uploaded it, and then I listened to BJ, or I saw BJ post a podcast, and I'm like, oh, it's BJ and Mitchell. Kind of like the Mitchell and Wayne. Oh, no.
Didn't do that. Missed
I
it.
didn't know he was going to put that as a podcast. It was a stream on Tuesday, but apparently Mitchell is a hot name in the podcast world right now.
And look, it gets us views, right? We increased in viewers the moment you showed up.
There you go.
Apparently, yeah. I liked Ron's comment, Mitchell with the steel chair. That's pretty good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Bobby.
All right. You guys take it easy. Have a good show.
See ya. Thanks for popping in. All right, a little cameo there. Nice.
Yes.
Good to see Mitchell. He's still alive. Yep.
Let me see here. Last game for me. Oh, did the phone ring? I missed it.
I don't know. Did you miss a call?
I may have. We may have missed a call.
Sorry, caller.
Sorry, caller.
Yeah.
We were talking to
Call
Mitchell.
back, call back.
That matters.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we did. 10:34. Missed a call.
Oh,
All right,
call
caller,
back.
try again.
Try again, please. Yeah. Get your last game in there. So your last game played last month.
Quartermaster General.
Quartermaster General.
Quartermaster General is the last game I played last month.
There we go.
Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name. Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Sam from Duffer Hills.
Hey, Sam. How are you? Hello.
Good. How are you?
We're talking games we played in May.
All right. Games we played in May. So one of the new games that I played that I've been dying to play since Dice Tower East last year is Merchant Cove. I think that you've played it, right, Rob?
I have played it. Mitchell actually taught me at Dice Tower, I think it was last year. Yep.
Which one did you play? Because every character is different, right? So it's
Yep.
It's asymmetrical, and everybody plays something different.
Is it a
Which one did you
pirate?
play?
Is it a pirate? I had the ship. I was going around. Yeah, I think I was plundering islands, and yeah, I was the pirate guy.
Ah, yes. I don't remember his name. I've only played it once, but
Okay.
I'm dying to play it again.
Okay.
And it's a very light game,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
It's very light, but I really like it. And I like that you get to learn your own character every single time and kind of have like your own little mini game.
Yeah,
So I'm really enjoying that one.
extremely asymmetrical. Yeah, every one of them plays different. I know. Actually, that's a trait Carlos really likes in those games where
No, because it reminds me of Massive Darkness 2.
Yeah.
Where it's just another dungeon crawl, like any other dungeon crawl, but the difference is every character has a different mechanism
Yep.
for how they do what they do. The joy of the game
Yep.
is playing a new game with a different character so you can learn a new mechanism.
it's really interesting in this one because if I remember, it's marbles, right? All the marbles kind of score points, and pretty much, if I remember correctly, and again, I've only one play, and it's been a year ago, but the marbles basically are worth the same number of points for different people, but you're scoring them in entirely different ways. You're playing very different games on your own little boards, and some of them, they hit a lot of the major mechanisms in gaming. One of them is doing a set collection thing. One's doing a cascading, this effect leads to this effect. Somebody's doing a shedding game. It's really just different mechanisms, but they all are flavored differently. They're all set to a different theme, and so even though you're all kind of using the same components, you're using them in very different ways. You're playing really your own separate game. If I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, the game is very little player interaction, if I remember. There's a few things that you're kind of racing for, but for the most part, you're really kind of playing your game on your board. Am I on base there? Am I remembering correctly, Sam?
Yeah, you pull from the bag, not the marbles, but the meeples, and then you put
Yes.
the meeples out.
Yes.
So you're kind of wanting those people to put the meeples where you want them to set sail on the side of the island,
Mhm.
to go to the dock that you would want those colors to go to, because that equates to how much points you get. So in one turn, somebody can get 30 or 40 points based off of those meeples because it's a multiplier, the color of the meeple and the boat that docks, versus because some of the boats don't dock, so you don't get that multiplier. And then there could be times where you only get 4 points. So your friend's scoring 30, you're scoring 4, but based off the rounds that happened and you being able to kind of foresee what's going to come or kind of hope what's going to come, you can, it ends up even out. So when I played, we all ended up within a few points of each other, even though we had turns like that with spans of 30 points.
Yeah, I think what you're saying, and that kind of rings some bells for me for sure. That there were some things that, if I remember, there's only like a limited number of those meeples in there, and so you may be going heavy red or whatever. And even though those don't come out this round, your opponent may score a bunch, but there's a bunch more of those in the bag. So in the future rounds, that those are probably going to start coming out, and then you're probably going to hit big in a future round where your opponent may not score so well.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So I really like it. I kind of heard good things about it. And then, of course, Mike Delicio, it's his #1 game, and I was interested in it. So when I saw it for sale,
Yeah, I know.
I got it, and I'm definitely not disappointed.
Mitchell and BJ are big fans, and so we just missed Mitchell. He had to run off and do some daddy duties there at home. But yeah, he'd probably love to be on this conversation. He taught it to me, and at that time, him and BJ had played through all the faction. It was fairly early. I think it was last year, so I think it was about a little over a year ago now, or about a year ago now, and they had played all of them multiple times. And I can't remember how many there are out, but there's quite a few factions you can play through.
I have 7. I don't know if there's more than that.
Okay.
But the 4 come in the base box, and then there's 3 other. The other boxes are literally just the other factions.
Right.
And I call them factions, but they're probably not. Whatever.
They're probably called something else. Yeah.
Yeah. However, I felt like the components were really well done, except for the last one. I think it was the Dragon Rancher. I couldn't get any of the components to stay together, and I remember marveling over how cool everything stays together with the cardboard. And then the last one, I had to use glue to get it to stay together.
Okay, component thing. But that does have a lot of neat little components in it, so I could see that there may be some things with that, because I think it was pretty much all cardboard from what I remember. And I know there's like a potion maker. I don't know if it's a conjurer or alchemist or whatever that one faction is. That one looked like fun, where you're trying to get different marbles and different combinations to score points, or to allow you to do things to get points. So yeah, lots of fun little ways that game is played. I want to hit just real quick. I know we just talked about the Great Wall. I know you have been a recent fan of that game.
Yes, I do really enjoy that game a lot.
Okay.
I kind of been I don't know if you guys have been watching Dice Tower East virtual flea market, but that game is on there, and I'm tempted, but I'm like, Jim has it, don't buy it. Jim has it, and he loves to play it, don't buy it, because I do really like it. The more I play it, the more I really enjoy it. I do, and I'm normally not a component person, but I think as I own more games, I want to spend more money on components versus just getting games, and I do think it's worth the upgrade to get the non-meeple version, the deluxe version.
Nice.
And I also saw Massive Darkness 2 on there, because I know Carlos, you were just saying about that one, because I don't normally like those dungeon cooperative games, but I really like that game. I liked the number 1. I've never played number 2. And you guys feel like number 2 is way better. Isn't that's the one Tom called in your show about? Marvel about how amazing it was.
Yeah, the general consensus is that 2 did a lot of things better than number 1 did. So I never played
number
1.
Was just a dungeon crawl.
Yeah.
Massive Darkness 2 kept it as a dungeon crawl, but added that asymmetric power, or not even power, mechanism for every single character, which if that's what you enjoy in Merchant's Cove, that's something that you'll get longevity out of Massive Darkness, right? Where a dungeon crawl, Rob may not agree, can get samey quick when you're playing hundreds of hours of the same mechanisms.
Yeah.
But if every time you go into the dungeon, you're playing a different character that plays the game differently, you've got to figure out how to synergize or be efficient with that new mechanism each time you play the game. That's going to add longevity to the game.
And I do like that. So I like that in Root. So I enjoy Root. And Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea does that. And I enjoy that game. So
yeah, because every faction is very different. Dwarves, orcs, elves. What I also like about Massive Darkness, which my 12-year-old mentioned this, we played Hero Quest, and it felt slow, right? Because Hero Quest is another game where you're slowly building up your character over each delve to the end of the quest book, 14 adventures or so. So you're slowly picking up experience, gaining skills, gaining new weapons. Massive Darkness says,
should be.
No.
That's the way real life works.
Massive Darkness throws it out the window and says, in this one adventure, you will go from meh hero to epic heroic hero by the end of that 1 2-hour session. So you get the whole arc of the hero in 1 2-hour sitting versus having to wait 14 adventures to become an epic hero.
Made me work for it.
No, don't make me work for it. I want instant gratification.
Oh no.
I can't be in a room with you that long, Robert. I love you, but I cannot be 140 days in a room with you.
140 hours? Or all right.
So good call outs for the May games.
All right.
I don't
Thank you,
Sam,
guys.
have you put the stickers on your Obsession game yet?
No, I did. I brought that game with me to play Sunday when I went to TGG. And so I put the stickers in the box to put them on if I did play, but I didn't. Instead, I played Millie Fiore a whole bunch of times there. And so I'm really enjoying that game. I just love the quickness of it. And I also played Revive, which I know Jim just talked about. And I love that game. I think I know I posted on your Discord.
Yep.
I really think that a lot of you guys will really like that game.
I gotta play
There's
it.
a lot going on. Like you're worried about your board, you're worried about what's going on there. There's a lot of different ways that you can score points or explore, because you explore in there as well. So if you guys like exploring and then building your house, so it kind of reminds me a little bit of Scythe in that way. There's no fighting, but there really isn't that much fighting in Scythe either.
Right.
And then you're kind of worried about your own board and developing that, and lots of upgrades that you can do. So I really enjoy it. And then as you get towards the end of the game, it's combo after combo. So if you enjoy taking one turn and then it leads to 10 other things that you can do, kind of like Hadrian's Wall, you know, how you do this and it triggers that, and you can do that, and you can do that. It's really good.
Yeah.
So I really did like that one.
I got to get it played. I keep hearing good things about it.
I know. When Jim told me about it being at that comic store again, I just like that comic store because of how much they mark it up. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So I'm fighting off because I do have a lot of games that I need to get played. So I'm like, no, don't do it. And you're going to go to the con and we could play it. Daryl has it. Ashley has it. I'm like, don't buy it.
Yeah. That's one thing at Coliseum I did when I walked in there the other day. I was pretty impressed, and it's been that way when I was there years ago. They had a great selection. They've got all the hot games there. It seems like there was games there I was like, holy mackerel, they have that. I haven't seen that anywhere. And but the prices,
and it'll sit there
the
because it's MSRP plus 20%.
Prices are high, and it kills me. I can't bring myself to do it. So. And then the fact that the 4 or 5 times I've been over there, the customer service has been pretty shaky. So. But anyway, that's another story.
I wonder if our trespass warrant is up yet.
Yeah, they can let us back in. No, I sneak in when I go. I wear different clothes and.
You might be able to sneak in. I may not.
No, you stand out a little bit.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah, something
I
like
don't know. It's Tampa or Tampa-ish area,
Yeah,
so
Tampa.
Carlos, you're going to blend right in. That's
There we
like half
go.
our population is Spanish.
Yeah.
For the comic book
Well, it's
store.
New
That's
Tampa.
their demographic.
It's New Tampa, so we sway a little more
maybe
the
not
other
the
way.
comic book store.
Yeah.
Maybe not the
Yeah.
comic book store.
No, not so much.
That's true.
Anyway.
Well, and based on the number of games you're buying in the virtual flea market, I don't know if you can swing
Afford
for 5
anymore.
also.
Oh my goodness. I know. I told my husband how many I buy. I'm like, listen, don't be mad. But I did buy like 20 games.
Oh.
I'm like, I'm going to try not to buy anymore.
All right. Game night at Sam's house.
Well, always game night at my house. So I did put a couple up for sale, which I wish Mitch was on because I kind of hear him in the back of my head when I put a game up for sale because I've never really sold a game of mine.
Oh, yeah.
Because he regrets selling his games. So then I'm like, should I sell these games? But I don't think I'm ever going to play Mage Knight. I know that some people love it, but I've tried it. I just don't think that I'm going to get it to the table. So I'm like, time to let it go.
I've gotten rid of like 4 games ever, and I'm getting ready to rebuy my first one. So it's like I'm already 25%. I'm already getting ready to rebuy. So yeah, it's bad.
I hate hearing that.
Yep. Oh
But
well.
I do have Twilight Inscription, so
Oh, cool.
I am down to teach you guys that. I also have Hadrian's Wall, which I'm down to play that one as well and get your comparison notes on it.
Yep, I need to relearn it because it's been a couple years since I played it, and I know I forgot about 90% of it, but I want to play it again.
I am not a huge fan of roll and writes in general, so the roll and writes that everybody loves, like Three Sisters and stuff, I just find them okay. Like I'm not in love with them, but I do enjoy the heavier ones. So I do enjoy Hadrian's Wall, Twilight Inscription, and there is some interaction, but I don't feel like there's that much interaction in Twilight Inscription. But I do enjoy it, and I think that as long as you don't go in there with really high expectations, that you would enjoy it too. So I hate to say that, but it's not going to be in my top 20, you know?
Okay. Well, I still want to play it. Yeah, I got to get it played.
Yeah, I think you should, and I think you'll like it as long as you don't go in there with like. Because I think Hadrian's Wall blew you away, right? Because it's the first one that did it.
Yeah, that was the first one. It felt like a full blown board game on a few sheets of paper. So yeah, that really impressed me. So again, that's one I gotta play again. I kept saying afterwards. Carlos had a copy of it. He still never had anybody play his copy. It's been on the shelf. And I, as the months went by, I told him, if we don't play this soon, I'm not going to be able to teach it to you because it's a 45-minute teach. And so after a couple months went by, I was like, sorry, I'd have to relearn the whole game again to teach it to you. So it sat there now for a year and a half. It's probably been sitting up there.
Rolling right burnout is the thing.
Yeah, there you go. So.
Well, I am happy to teach either one of those games. I enjoy those.
Awesome.
Both of those roll and writes, and the only other roll and write I like is the dinosaur one, which Michelle sold to me.
Roar and write.
Yeah.
The one that Mitchell taught us in Louisiana, Rob.
Okay. Yep. I remember that one.
Did you like it?
We were minus a die, so
I fell asleep.
We couldn't get the full experience. The cat ate a die, or what was it? Something with
the cat ate a die, and I fell asleep.
Did you fall asleep because it was boring, or just because it was past your bedtime?
Past my bedtime.
Past a bedtime. He had a fun-filled day on Bourbon Street, so that had probably something to do with it a little bit too. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for chatting with me.
Absolutely.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks for calling. We
appreciate y'all making it a call-in show. That's what keeps it titled the call-in show.
What it's all about. Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good night, Sam.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Thanks.
All right, so I went through my games played in May. I'm going to share Wayne's list that he posted up in our Discord chat.
He's got a visual. Oh, I feel so...
Because Rob doesn't follow instructions.
Mine's not very
there was
visual.
instructions we were supposed to post something? Oh, sorry, I didn't see that.
Let's see here. Let me zoom that in a little bit.
Yeah,
No, that didn't work.
I don't have the cool
Try that
fancy
again.
app that does the board game covers like you guys have.
Oh, yeah, I don't have that either.
Let's see if I can get this thing to work right. There it is. There it is. So, Wayne, talk to us about the games you played in May.
I mean, I think I talked about a few of them last week with the ones that made my top, whatever. There's like 6 or 7 there that made my top.
Yeah, and this is more of the ones that didn't make the top 20, like other notable games that ended up getting played.
I mean, obviously,
or not notable, like warning people to stay away.
Yeah, Firefly, the Shiny Dice game. That's
Shiny Dice game.
Yeah, it was.
Is that really the title?
Yeah, Firefly Shiny Dice. Yeah, it was $5, like at a clearance place. And I was like, I'll buy it because Firefly theme, but it's bad. It's like I was like, whatever, it's a bad game. It's $5. Comes with like Firefly themed stuff, and I like that show. But
you got Uno in.
Yeah, well, my kid, he just loves playing Uno. We go back and forth and play it, so that one pops up a lot, and apples to apples with the family. But I think going back to Draftosaurus, excuse me. I taught it to my brother and his kids who are not gamers, and they were in town last month, and they were like, "Oh, this is really cool. Let's go." They wanted to go buy a copy, to have back at their house. So I like when you can do that. Take a game that's
playing that one in person for any non-gamer, I think would stand out.
All the little dinosaur meeples,
right?
Yeah.
Dino meeples, little zoo pens, and that bag. It's so different than any board game you're used to playing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's not a metal dog rolling D6s.
Yeah.
I think I'll talk about like the I think Cascadia made my list, but even what's funny is like Robbie had said before that like a game gets so hyped that when you play it, it just doesn't live up to the hype.
Yeah.
And I know that everyone loves Cascadia. I know Carlos loves Cascadia, and it was a really cool game, but I don't think it could ever have lived up to the hype in my mind, having of like what the game is. It was like, oh, this is a really good game, but I don't like. Is it? Wow, it's not that good, But it was good. I need to play it a few more times, and I like to play it with my family to see what they think of it.
Cascadia.
So. Mm-hmm.
I think we need to play it like full on gamer competition. Like even just like.
We played it pretty competitive. It was me, Sam, Jim, and Wayne. So,
Yeah, that's pretty competitive group.
Yes, it was a pretty competitive group that played it.
It was,
but
yeah.
I see what you're saying. That didn't happen to be with Cascadia, but I do find that a lot with lighter games. And I think the captain is dead, or was not captain is dead. Starship Captains. Yeah, that we were just talking about with Mitchell. For some reason, I thought that was a more complicated game, and for some reason, all the hype I was hearing about it, I was like, wow, this must have some great mechanics, must have some real complexity. Must be really thinky. And then I played it, and it was like, oh. Well, that did what it did really well, but it was way lighter than I thought it was going to be for some reason, and that's probably Cascadia. Cascadia is a very family-friendly, light game. You can play it real quick, fairly quick, reset it, do it again.
What level of objective cards did you use?
We probably played all A's. We probably started with all the basics. I don't remember. We just randomly pulled. We mixed it. It was with four card decks, I think. We mixed up the 4 cards. I don't know. I haven't played enough to know, and then just randomly grabbed one out of each of the 4.
That's the way I like to do it.
Okay.
The randomness, because it. But if you go all D's,
okay, yeah,
it can get pretty hard.
Yeah, it probably could. I don't remember what we drew, but we randomly pulled, and
because at that point you're really making decisions regarding which objective to focus on, because you're not going to be able to do them all well. So it's trying to decide which ones you give up on. You have to make trade-offs. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
In the lower levels, the A's and even the family version, you can have it all.
Yeah.
You can have a little bit of every animal and do well. But in once you get to higher levels, it really is you have to
really
focus
have to
on these animals to
specialize.
get it. Yeah, you have to specialize.
Cool.
Very good.
Yeah, it was definitely a
Cascadia.
fun game. It's on my list to pick up. Actually, what's funny is there's one for sale on the Dice Tower virtual flea market. I was thinking about buying it, but I was realized too is you look at the price of some of the games on the flea market, and then you go look at like Amazon, and you go, it's only like a $10 or $15 difference.
I don't like that. This is why, and then I'm buying it used, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
If I'm buying it used, I got to get a good discount, or it's got to be a game that's harder to find. But
Agreed. Ice
think
Cool. How hard was that to set up?
Ice Cool is cool. Have you never played that one?
I've seen the large one at Dice Tower. They got the
my
epic
fingers
size.
hurt every time I think about
Oh my
flipping those little
gosh.
meeples. It makes my fingers hurt.
My nails get bruised.
Just thinking about it.
Because they have the mega size. They're like huge
well,
penguins.
Not even those, but still those.
I love the concept that the box is the game. That,
Yeah, that's cool.
It's a nesting box, and you pull it out, and you kind of just make it. That was that was actually for my calendar, the board game Mosaic calendar. They had a challenge, and one of the challenges was like play a dexterity game. So I told my kid, like, hey, let's play Ice Cool today. He's like, oh, cool. So we busted out. We did a little 2-player game of Ice Cool, which is fun. And that's what I think of my list. If you look at my list, there's games that most gamers would probably never play, like Blockis or Apples to Apples and Uno or Ice Cool, all the way up to like games that we all play, Endeavor, Age of Sail. And I think that's when you have a family and you have kids, and sometimes you just got to go, okay, I may not like to play Uno, but my kid wants to play it, so we're going to play Uno, so.
Very cool. Very cool. Rob, you're up.
Oh, I'm going to grab my list. I've talked about all these. I just was looking over my list. I actually didn't play that many. I played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different games over the month, so it was not a eventful month for me last month.
I played more games than you?
Probably. Yeah, it sounds like.
Wow.
Well, this is excluding my campaign games, so I mean, this doesn't count Arkham. This
Oh,
doesn't
that's right,
count
because that's eating
Frosthaven.
up a lot of your time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing that twice a week, a lot of weeks. But anyway, so but I've talked about all these, so I'm not going to go real into depth about any of them. Medici, that was on Wayne's list. Wayne's pulled that out, and we've played that a couple of times now. I enjoy it. Great little bidding game, I guess, is the main mechanic. Set collection, bidding.
Closed auction bidding.
Yeah, auction bidding. Yeah, there you go. So that's right. Closed auction. That's a fun game. Bidding with your points is always fun. Something Carlos doesn't probably love so much, but I enjoy that. I played Maglev Metro. That was also on Wayne's list. Wayne and I did some gaming together, as you can tell, last month. Maglev Metro, I still have not played the expansion stuff. Dan has the expansion with the 4 new maps and the 4 new mechanisms. Each map puts in a new mechanism. Dan and I were just talking about that the other night, that he's going to host some games of that, and so we're going to get together a group and try to play through those 4 maps. So anybody who's interested, who's local, let me know. We'll hit those up. Or let Dan know, I should probably say. Played Obsession. We hit on that a little bit. Sam's copy of Obsession. We played that over at Sam's place a couple, 3-4 weeks ago. Great game. I've played it. That was the first time I've ever played it in person. I've played it online probably 4, 5, 6 times now, and awesome game. I really can't say enough about Obsession. I love the time period and stuff there. The that whole romantic idea of it. A lot of fun. Dune Imperium. We've talked about Dune Imperium. One of my top games, I guess. Oh, board's not up there. I was looking for the board, but it's on. I think around my top 5 or whatever on the big board. So enough said. I love Dune Imperium. Jamaica. I had a chance to teach Sam that at game day after everybody took off. Nice. We did a little 2-player. She's wanted to play that game for a long time. She said I happened to bring it because we did an aquatic theme game day. So I got to teach her that. We played. She killed me. I think she doubled my score in Jamaica. So that's fine. It happens. Tidal Blades, part of that aquatic game day. Nick Oben taught us Tidal Blades. We did a 4-player game of that. I like it. I don't love it at 4-player. I guess I'm hearing now that you need to probably play it with 3. Downtime was a little much, and the board was really tight at 4 players. There was a lot of turns I couldn't do quite what I wanted to do, but fun game. Gave me a lot of feels of. We talked about Champions of Midgard.
Yeah.
You're defeating monsters. You're kind of having to work cooperatively to beat the big monster that comes out every round. If you don't, everybody's going to take a penalty, or anybody who didn't fight them takes a penalty. So lots of feels of Champions of Midgard, dice that you're using as warriors and stuff to fight the bad guy. I'm sorry, did you want to say something, Wayne?
I was just saying, I totally agree with you. The game was a lot of fun, but definitely I would want to play it again at 3 and probably not play it again at 4.
Yeah, I think so. I think 4 was probably one too many, and I think Nick said that afterwards. I remember if he said that was the first time he had played with 4, or he's only played maybe one other time with 4, and he didn't realize that it wasn't as good at 4. But I think that's definite. I'd recommend that game at 3. At 4, I'd say maybe somebody sit out. It is what it is. I know Dan wasn't a big fan. He had played it once before, and he volunteered to sit out on that one. He didn't really enjoy it on his one play. And the last one of my all-time favorites, was on my top 5 of all time for a while, and we talked about it last week quite a bit. Endeavor: Age of Sail. I love that game. We taught a couple people. We taught Wayne and I think Sam were first-time players. Me and Dan and Nick had played once, and so we kind of retaught him some of the rules. And I don't think we talked about last week that maybe we did, maybe I forgot. But the modules in that game, I have never played. I think I played with one of the modules, but if I remember, there's like 8 or 10 modules that come in the box. I've played that game 10 times probably, and I've never even felt much of a need or a desire to delve into those modules.
We always just move that aside.
Yeah, and the game is so good on its own. I don't feel the need to whip out any of those modules. I mean, there's stuff that they add, but I hear from a lot of people that the base game, when you buy the base game, it comes with the modules. That's not an extra expansion. That's not an extra price. It comes with it, and I've heard from a lot of people they've never touched those modules, and so it might mean the modules aren't great, but they add to the complexity. But I like the game where it's at now. It's not overly complex. It's fairly quick. It's there's only a handful of actions you can do, and it's a little bit in your face. The board, especially at 5 players that we played, gets tight quick, and you're having to use that combat action. With that 3 or 4 players, you're not hardly ever doing combat. At 5 players, that last whole round, almost the board was full, and the only actions you really could do would be to start eliminating people. So fun game. I like that one a lot. So
top of my list on that one.
That was my May.
All right, folks. Well, that's our games we played in May. We created a Discord thread. Is that the right word? Thread? Discord thread for the general chat where you can post up your games that you played in May to share with the folks, and we can critique each other. It looks like Bowser has thrown up his games played in May. Bowser is a friend of Nick Oben out of, is it the Virginia area?
I don't remember if he was a Maryland guy or not, but yeah, probably Maryland area.
And I'll post up an image here of his games played, just so we can share. This is one of the posts that we've got. Champions of Midgard, Tapestry,
Marvel Champions.
I'm sorry,
not Champions of Midgard, but
it's a better
different
one.
Game. Yeah.
Marvel Champions.
Marvel Champions.
Tapestry, Seven Wonders Duel. Oh, Rob, help me out here.
Is that 18XX?
1848
China?
Australia.
And then 1848 Australia.
Yeah.
Then the crew mission. I still have not played.
I have not either. Oh, no. I did play once.
Did you get it?
I did play once. Yes.
Oh, I
don't
still haven't
own
got
it, but
that
I
one.
played it once somewhere. I can't remember where.
I wish it just did well at 2. Like it's I don't know.
Yeah, it's not good at 2.
It's never.
It's not good at 3 really either.
And that's the thing is at 4 I'm playing something else.
Yeah.
Then the new Great Western Trail, the updated version. I think he mentioned it in the Discord as well.
Yep.
That Bowser was able to play that. So that gives you an idea of what folks are posting up in our Discord on games that they played in the month of May. Post yours up so we can get a peek. Thursday nights, tell your friends what we're doing here on the Beans and Dice podcast every Thursday night, where we take your calls to talk about games you've been playing and things that you've been up to in the gaming world. And check out our podcast. It comes out just about every week-ish, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes on Sunday, sometimes on Wednesday. I don't know. Feeling cute.
Whatever you feel like it.
Drop it whenever.
Just mix it up a little bit. Yeah.
We are the Beans and Dice podcast. We are a podcast about
how we game. That's Carlos. I'm Rob.
And I'm Wayne.
And I'm looking for the outro music.
Yeah, he's reaching for the button over there, so I was trying to fill a little time. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Watching the Beans and Dice podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Don't forget, like and subscribe.
Saturday game day, Armada Games. Don't forget.
Be there Saturday. What?